Okay, gang, meeting is now streaming live on Facebook, so we're ready to kick off this event. I hope all of you had a first great week of 2022. And what a year 2021 was. What a year it was. And I'm just going to share some short information here before we dive into the first speaker of today. He's going to share more numbers as well, so I'm not going to go too much in depth on this, but we'll look at the 1Mondo numbers here. Since we launched this team back in end of August 2016, right? So September 17 was the first month, and we can see we ended 16. So the 1st of January 2017, we had 1,148 customers. And here we're talking active customers. Yes, we have customers who bought without subscription, all of this. And you know, if they buy now or prepaid kits, if they buy prepaid even in 6 months, prepaid after 90 days, they don't count. So this is active customers in the 1Mondo community. Then you saw we grew 213%, low numbers, easier to have high percentage growth, right? And then 2018, we grew 33%. Then 2019, we grew 29%. 2020, huge year, 164% growth. We went from 7,040 to 18,550 customers with 164% growth. And still after that amazing growth, we produced another great growth year, 2021. We went from 18,550 to 26,691 active customers. So huge congratulations to everybody for an amazing job. I'm proud to be part of this amazing community, and a long-term goal to have 10 million customers by 2050. That's definitely something we're going to do. And since shooting to have 10 million customers, 100 million customers by 2050, right? So probably percentage-wise, we're one of the quickest growing teams in our company. So I can't see why we shouldn't have 20-30% of the company 2050. So these are numbers, and it's impressive numbers. And hat off to everybody that contributed. What you do really matters, and most importantly, to the health of every person you help get into balance. And then look at what's coming the next couple of months. We were expecting 25, 30 of the main people coming to Dubai here the 2nd and 3rd of February. But and we had planned here for different things to do, and then we outgrew everything. So now we look at what will the party be? You know, there were boats, there were this, but with too many people, so we outgrew everything. And right now there's over 50 people coming, over 50 people in the 1Mondo community coming to this 1Mondo Legacy Summit in Dubai. If you have the opportunity, be there. The trainings you're going to get for these 2 days, and I mean, that's going to be something that you can take with you and really bring it into your life and in your business. And it's going to be trainings there, how you become really successful in this business. No matter if you do this for part-time income or you want to become wealthy. If you want to be wealthy, of course, if you do this to build a huge business, be wealthy, it's not even up for discussion. Be there. And then from there, we're going to have this. And then we have the annual 1Mondo event coming up. More information coming about this. But the 7th of May, Saturday, the 7th of May in London, we're going to have the annual event. And the 6th going to be diamonds and above trainings and special stuff there. So write this in your calendar. More information will come shortly. And something I forgot to put in is, of course, at the beginning of July, the Leader School for Cinzino. Just realized right now. So that is something that's coming up as well. And then, of course, we started a month. There's great campaigns. There is the 200% ECB campaign. Many of you qualified here in December already. If you're not qualified, make sure you qualify here in January for 200% ECB. Then also, we have the Cinzino enrollment bonus campaign, right? Every person you personally enrolled in January, and you help them to qualify for smart products. They get 4 customers. You get, and they have to have 200 credits, right? Their own package is count, and you get, oops, it disappeared for me. I don't know about you guys. There it is again. So you can see on the right side here, right? Sign up a personal partner, help them get 4 customers, and then make sure it's at least 200 personal credits. And you get 200 pay points, so 200 euros, $250. And this is a great campaign. I mean, if you're taking action, some of you already sponsored personal partners in January. Imagine you sponsor 3-4 of these and help them, and you can make 600 to 800 extra. There's no limit to this. You can go out and go 10 and do 2,000 extra in this bonus. So take advantage of that. And then, of course, the ultimate partner campaign. We already talked about this team call. Because we have this kickoff, there's no team call on Monday. Remember that. This is the kickoff for this month. Then on Tuesday, we have the next business presentation. But the partner kit campaign, so we can start ultimate partner kit. They get 25 active customers. Their 12th month, they get the refund of the kit. And then as part of your goal setting for the year, I really hope you put Mexico. Free trip, 5-star resort, 1 week, flights, food, everything paid here in spring 2023 to Playa del Carmen. If you haven't been, I can promise you it's an amazing place. It's a decade ago, 11 years ago, I was there, right? 2011, I think. So a decade ago, amazing place. And imagine, I mean, there's nothing better than a free trip when it's 5-star luxury, paid flights, paid trip. So how do you qualify? You go out and collect enough director trip points, 160 director trip points this month, or you go out and qualify as a new director. So just go director and you're qualified, or 160 director trip points. You're building a business. I hope you're professional enough. If you sit there and wonder, what is director trip? Why did my sponsor tell me? I told you now, it's your responsibility to go to back office, press campaigns, and you can press director trip, and you can press there and get information. So you have a business, it's up to you. It's not your sponsor's fault if you don't know this. You should be interested enough because this is under campaigns on your back office. So make sure you're being professional. You're checking the back office. Check the news from Cinzino, ongoing campaigns. All of this information is there. And some of you are building a team, right? And what you want your team to do, you have to do with the people what you want them to do without you. You can't just sit and tell people, look at this, watch that. You have to do it with them in the beginning so they can do it without you. So this is important you stay updated, because if you understand what it takes to qualify for that trip to Mexico, you'll understand that it's doable for you, no matter if you got started yesterday. So make sure you're working towards this director trip and help your people work towards this and have a plan to qualify for the Mexico trip next year. Also, you can find this in Cinzino. You got an email with this as well. So I hope you're using this, as your goal plan. If you didn't look at the diamond training, Cinzino sent out an email yesterday with a diamond kickoff, right? There was a diamond kickoff. If you look at half an hour into that, I did a goal setting training. I can highly recommend, go in there. If you haven't done your goals for this year, I talk about how you can set your goals, about workshop, and I help you set your goals, give you time in that workshop I did for you to, with some music, a couple of minutes, write down, break down this step by step, this sheet. So look at that diamond kickoff, because also there you heard from the CEO, you heard from Orion, and you heard all the news, what's going on with the company, Cinzino. Because Cinzino is a train that's moving quickly in many countries and still just getting started. So what part do you want to play over the next decades with millions and millions of customers? And then 1Mondo Global, you go to files, press the yearly goal setting sheet, right? Yearly workbook. This is a training I did 2 weeks ago for our team. How you set your goals and then how you track. The tracker is there. You can print it, copy it, because it's the habits over time that brings you results, right? So we can I was sitting with one of our partners here in Marbella 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. We talked about, He's in a phase where he didn't see growth. And I asked him, okay, let's look at invite percent follow-up. How many have you done the last month? Number was 0. You cannot expect to get results for a job you didn't do. So I told him, just focus on, because he's reading a lot, he's listening, he's attending, but he's not implementing, he's not taking action. And you cannot get results for a job you didn't do. So we talked about this and talked about the tracker, and you need to invite percent follow-up on this tracker. I just told him, decide for your number. Find that number that fits you in your life and hold that over time. Because your minimum week, those habits create your future. I told him, show me your minimums and I'll show you your future. Show me your minimum level of activity, right? Weekly. Show me your minimums and I'll show you your future. So work the tracker. And it's like this, I mean, no matter who you are, people who succeed at the highest level, they're not lucky. They're doing something different than everyone else. If you haven't heard my story, I grew up with a single mother who was a bartender. I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I grew up with big self-esteem issues. I grew up with friends who many went south, literally. Some of them are dead, actually. Some went to jail. And so I didn't come from that background. And I just made a decision. I'm going to be successful in life. I'm going to be wealthy. I'm not going to live a life where, like I did for many years, I was having a job where I didn't feel fulfilled. So I was only going to job for money. And most people that live the life, daily decisions just based on money. And I thought, I want to get money out of the way so I can live life on my terms. That's what I used this tool for. And it gave me all the freedom and the money I wanted that way, right? But more importantly, in a way, we work with people. We work helping people. And everybody's different. And Cincino can be a tool, no matter if it's, just you use it for, we have many already rich people before they started, they do it as a challenge. They do it for personal growth. They do it to help other people with their health, with the financial part. So no matter who you are, Cincino can give you whatever you want out of it. It can be that business that give you exactly what you want out of it. No matter if it's health, wealth, personal growth, a challenge, relationships. It's a fun business. Normal days, very social business as well. Because this kickoff, imagine when you come to Dubai, you get to meet Dave Ives live. You hear from Fabian, Sina, Javi, Trine, Kirsten. You get to meet these people live. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. So I really hope you've set your goals for the year. I won't go into goal setting because you have that in the diamond training, really depth. I highly recommend go do that. But let's dive into the first speaker of the day. He's a man, he started 2.5 years ago with Cincino, and he's done a great job. He's a black crown. You hear from him often. He always wears his heart on the sleeve. He's always working hard, always supporting the team, real team player. And I'm proud to call this man not only a great leader and business partner, but one of my dearest friends today. So with that, I'll drop it over to Black Crown, Mr. Dave Ives. Thank
you, Marco. And Happy New Year to everybody. A Happy New Year. And I think just watching Marco go through and refresh ourselves, what's ahead, what we have in our hands, and it's exciting. 22 is going to be very exciting, but there's a lot of sleeves that we must roll up. And it's we're going to have to get dirty a little in 22. So I've been asked to speak, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you wouldn't think that Marco and I communicated, because he did say that I'm going to handle some numbers today, and you'll be impressed with my slides too. He sent me over his slide deck, and then I saw him have a darker version. I'm going, oh shoot, I still can't follow instruction. But hey, at least we're working in the right direction. But I'm going to share with you something that I believe that will really help us. But I want you to maybe go on a journey with me today. We've got about 30 minutes together. And I want you to be in a position where you actually are present, and you take a moment over the next 30 minutes to be truth full about yourself. Because how many of you have heard this before? And I've been around 15 years. This is now January, my 15th year of actively building this type of model. My background, for those who don't know, because there's a lot of new faces here, a lot of new continents on here, that yet have not met. So my background is sports in my early years, but moving forward to actually earning a living was in the restaurant business. I'm a chef by profession, but I've been around this type of industry about 15 years. And 29 months ago, in fact, 30 months ago, I was about to leave the industry if it wasn't for Marco Passanante. But even in those 29 months or 30 months, I've been building teams, building my Zinzino business. I ask myself every day, what can I do today that helps me become better? What's my agenda today to sharpen the sword, sharpen my axe? And I love this saying. I shared this with a team a few weeks ago, and I want you to maybe think about this. If we want things to change, then we must change. So if we want 22, if you want to have different things in 22 than you and I had or experienced in 21, then we need a new version of ourselves. We need to grow. We need to plug into personal development, because if we keep doing what we've kept doing, we're going to keep getting the same results. So here's a saying that maybe you want to write down and just go over daily. You're committing to a new you in 22. And as I shared this with the team the other day, as I was going through these slides, putting them together this morning, I actually expanded that. What we do to become a new you in 22, ready? Extension of that will set us free in 23. What we do in 22 to become a better version of ourselves will help us become free in 23. So for us to change, there's an element of belief that we have to grow. But belief is really a broad spectrum, and it can cover multitudes of subjects. You know, where Marco kicked off with the growth of the team since his conception with Zinzino is one area. But there's 4 areas I want to touch on today in my time with you. And I want you to now rhetorically write down on a piece of paper the power of belief. But more importantly, we're going to look at 4 areas that I think will need addressing. And that's all of us. I'm talking to you from Dave Ives. I'm not teaching you anything. These are areas that I am working on in 22 to make a better version of me so I can become even freer in 23. So that belief-o-meter, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to now, as I go to the next slide, I want you to now put down from 0 to 10, 0, that is obviously very low, 10 is the max you can go. What really is your belief in the company, the product line, the corporate structure, the support, the global reach, and the list could go on and on. What's your belief in the company? What's your belief in the team? This is a powerful one. What's your belief in your dreams? And for me personally, belief in you. And I want to touch on that that's the last one, because that's the one we have to dig a little deeper in. So here's some other numbers that Marco was referring to. Is as a company, from the time I joined the venture, May of 2019, so just under 3 years. At that time, when I had the opportunity to meet Orion and Hilda in their home, courtesy of Marco, and spend the time around their kitchen table, they had tested as a company in the markets they were in, 270,000 individuals. 270,000 had taken a little DBS, a dry blood spot prick, and sent it off. And from that resulted into about 180,000 monthly subscriptions. Well, let's fast forward to today, January of 2022. Now they've tested over 765,000, and now we're well over 430,000 of monthly subscriptions. So we know that people are subscribing to Better Health. We know that people are subscribing to our product line. And November was a record-breaking month. Over 55,000 brand new subscriptions in the month of November. That went up from 375,000 to 430,000. So as we sit here and we are in our Zinzino business, and maybe we don't have the amount of personal subscriptions that we thought we may have had, or we haven't hit our A team, our pro team, our top team, and we start to make excuses, or we start to point fingers, but let's ask ourselves, 55,000 people did subscribe to the products. So as we go through this belief element, we can work on these areas. So if our belief in the company is low, then we won't message the opportunity or the product, the test-based nutrition, the way we should do. So if we can build our belief in the company, and how do we do that? Evidence. This is a great snapshot. This is slightly blurred for a reason, because you don't need to drill in and look at the data. I just want you to look at those 4 circles. The left being 2018, the right being 2021. Look at the blue area. The blue area is our immune products, our Extend Plus, our Protect Plus, our Viva, etc. Now, here is a big wake-up call for me. When I saw this, how can partners who may have made the same amount of customers, but one has greater subscriptions? I'll repeat that because that really confused me. How can a partner, 1 or 2, have the same number of customers, but one has greater number of subscriptions? Well, they've either developed the skill of how to position the protocol better than another. So it's the one customer, but they're getting greater value from them. So you can see that even in that 36 months, the company's segment of protocols and immune products, in addition to balance oil, has grown dramatically. If you and I are just simply registering just one partner customer on our oil, there's other partners enrolling customers on protocols. So that's not about the company. That's about our communication skill. That's our belief in the products. Because that's the greatest value, to be honest, and they get the greatest results from the protocol. What about the company's reach? The company is now in excess of 100 markets. And when I saw this, I know if you're from one of these markets, kudos to you. But I look at the Czech, I looked at the Slovakia, Slovenia, Lithuania, all these countries that have a smaller mass than the United Kingdom, and maybe put your own market in there. They have less disposable income, and yet they're doing higher volume than we are. It's not about the company. It's not about the products. It's our belief. It's our hunger. So if we want 22 to be different than 21, then maybe these are areas where we need to work on. And of course, the global shop is giving us an expansion of greater reach of drop shipping into other markets. And that gives us an indication of what sort of markets will be coming through to be fully opened in 22, 23 moving forward. And we already know that Mexico and Belgium are next on the line. So, the company is expanding. But even as a company grows, there are teams in that company that don't. The other side of that also, even when the company isn't growing, there's teams in a company that do. They don't go together sometimes. So if you have something about the products, the company, you need to really be able to understand so you can throw your heart across the bar in 22 about and not even have a hesitation, so you can talk boldly and proud and with posture about our company and products, then that may be an area that we need to work on. The second one is belief in the team. And Marco talked about this earlier on, the growth of his customer numbers. But I want to give kudos to the team. I want to give credit to the founder of 1Mondo. Because when he started, I want you to write this down. When he started, like you started, like I've started, like others that will partner with you will need to start. They start with the power of one, just then. They start with the power of one. They go through the same process, the same getting started, the same making a list, the same learning what to say, how to say it, what to say, how to contact and invite, how to share the product, share the potential of the opportunity. Follow up and rotate that program. So 2015, in fact, September of 2015, you can see Marco Passanante, 1Mondo, was given birth to, and it was Power of One. A few years later, look at the lives, look at the successes, look at the impact that one man with a vision, aligning with a company, has already done in a few short years. Over 261 executives and above. For those who may be new here, executive and above makes on average, approximately, give or take, up or down, not precisely, anything from 400 to 500, 600 pounds a month. Over 62 diamonds and above. That's halfway to being a six-figure a year earner, and over 8 six-figure income earners. So what I love about what Zinzino brings to the table and what this team brings to the table, if you really look at executive to diamond, I call that the middle class of the industry. Middle class is where people are making enough to maybe replace their income part-time, where some of them are actually making more part-time than full-time. And our numbers are growing. The success is unquestionable. So do you believe in the team? Where the team's going? Where the company's going? Because the next one is, are your dreams big enough? Now, some I know will struggle with how they don't know how to dream big. Why? Because their dream has never become a reality. They've never actually dreamt bigger. And so dreams are very personal. Dreams are your vision. Your dream is personal to you, but it needs to be beyond where you are currently. It needs to be beyond your reality. And that's why association is so important. When you get to these leadership trips like Dubai, when you come to London, to 1Mondo, when you go to leaders school, you may not want to go. You may even be dragged there. But I've never been to an event where I've been dragged to or left or invited others and had to coerce them to attend that didn't thank me, or I thanked the individual who got me there under false pretenses. Why? I heard something, I saw something, I felt something, and I saw evidence. So for you to make your vision more meaningful, it has to be given some time. And we've heard over again, if you don't have a dream big enough that you're willing to fight for, you're going to quit. And that would mean it would be something you would like. It's a wish, it's a hope. It's not something you're prepared to roll up your sleeves and go for. It has to be specific to you. And this is what I've learned. I do not want what Marco Passanante wants. You don't need to have what Dave Ive wants. But I get around Marco Passanante. Why? When I see how he talks, when I see how he interacts, when I see how he and his fiancée live, I boil that down to choices. Now, I may not make the same choices as him with the freedom of time and money, but I see him living the reality of his vision. So I always want to get around other people that get me dreaming. And I want to share with you just very quickly that you've got to have a dream that makes you move, not just to pay the bills. Now, if that's where you are right now, then that's fine. But take some time. You know, I want to be part of an organization that's going to fill arenas around the world in the next 5 to 10 years. I want to be part of a water charity that I've been following, an individual that is helping countries that do not have access to water. I want to be able to be a scholar, and I want to be able to read my faith. I want to be able to recite scripture because I'm a man of faith. I want to be able to take with Shan, I want to be able to take families off the streets and build them 2-bedroom homes in Latino markets through 3D printing. I want to be able to fly as often as I want to with the people I care about. But my own personal one as a recognition for me is a motorhome. And boy, a motorhome to have my family, my grandkids, decide which way we're going to go. So guess what? The power of the dream is the fuel for your vehicle. Understand that Zinzino is a vehicle to get you from A to B, to make an impact, to make a change in people's lives from a health and wellness perspective. But it's your economic vehicle. And so without a dream, you have no fuel, you have an opportunity. And so when people have an opportunity, so often they don't even get started in that opportunity because they haven't defined their why. And the world is full of opportunity. And the opportunities that are being presented daily today through technology and globalization and reach is bigger than ever before. So if you don't dream, you'll never be able to take advantage of these opportunities. And Zinzino is an opportunity, but the 1Mondo community is an opportunity. We have a system, we have support, we have evidence. And we must look outside of our current reality to see how life could be. Now, I don't know about you, but when I entered this industry 15 years ago, as I sit with others that are living the life that I aspire to, the choices that they have, the freedoms that they have, I remember the question that was asked of me. As a young man, I was asked, Dave, what is it that you would like to do 2 to 5 years from now if money and time were no object? Now, when I was first in the industry, that wasn't an issue. I knew what I wanted because I knew what I didn't want. But the longer I took to make it happen, or I had success in the industry, then I didn't have success in the industry, and I was about to leave the industry. I know where many of you are with your belief about your dreams. You don't want to get your hopes up. You don't want to get disappointed. Well, of April of 2019, I had 20 pounds to my name at 51 years young. Yes, I'd made money, and I'd also lost it. I'd been living in a 1.7 million home on 10 acres. I had the life. You could put 30 cars on my drive. My heating bill, my living costs were £8,000 a month. And in 2016, I was left with 4 bags of clothes and a 4-year-old daughter, and I had no home to really call my own. Yeah, but Dave, you've been successful. Well, the key to success isn't making money. The key to success is making money and learning how to be a good steward of it. And so when I didn't want to get excited again. I didn't want my hopes up again. I did not want to actually get started because what if I couldn't do it again? So my belief was in my ability to do it again. Would people listen? Would people partner? Would people follow? But I looked outside of my current reality, which I did not like, and I went to work. That doesn't mean that we should be negative about the current reality or find all the things that's wrong with it. It just means don't limit ourselves to what's happening in the present. Our current state is only a temporary situation if you allow it to be. So understand the power of the dream. So the dream is a fuel. And now I want to talk to you about our beliefs, the belief in us, the belief in ourselves. And I think the reason why people don't succeed in life, not just this industry or move forward in life and in this industry, is not because of their dream, but because of the limiting the beliefs they put on themselves. And over the years, the books I've read, The Magic of Thinking Big, How to Win Friends and Influence People, sitting at the feet, metaphorically, of founders and leaders and people that have succeeded in this industry that came from being a house painter to driving a bus, from people that were orthodontists to being free people. I heard often, you'll hear it often, you'll hear it going forward. Henry Ford's famous saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that really captures the essence of limiting beliefs, because you, I, no matter where we are, understand this, Marco has limiting beliefs. I have limited beliefs, and so do you. The difference for many is they identify them, they own them, and they put them in front of them to know that that's something I must address, I must work on. Because when we identify our limiting beliefs and we then take the power back and then we start, that's why books are important. That's why events are important. That's why audios are important. And we have the best system, Go Core, for all of that. We must first acknowledge the situation, because unless we can acknowledge it and be honest with ourselves, then we can't move past it. But when we do acknowledge it, and we are honest with ourselves, then we're on the path to overcome them. I want you to write this one down, because I wrote this one down from Orion Sala. In the Diamond Kickoff, he said, the Leaders Council last week, he said, circumstances in our lives cannot be removed, but they can be overcome. And to overcome the circumstances, we must be growing, we must be learning, we must be developing ourselves. Our self-belief. But once we've acknowledged that, then we can put those limiting beliefs in front of ourselves and we can then become accountable. And that's when you find a mentor. That's when you find someone you can trust, that you know that you can go to, that will hear, listen, and talk truth into you, not just someone who holds you accountable for volume. Because if you build the man, lady or gentleman, they'll build the plan. I'm going to say that one again because that's one of my favorites. When you build the man, lady or gentleman, they build the plan. So now we have the power, we've acknowledged it. We've got to work on dismissing those limited beliefs. See, many people get caught up in this industry of, we'll see what the company's going to do. We'll see what our upline will do for us. We'll see, we'll wait and hope. Well, hope won't fulfill your dreams. It gives you hope. It gives you a little bit of energy, but it will not fulfill our dreams. Many will see what happens. They feel like that they're not in control. And you must become in control. You're in control of listening to the audio. You're in control whether you commit to an event. You're in control if you read a book every month. You are in control. And by not doing it, you've given away the power of personal growth. So I'm going to challenge you in 22 that you read a book of the month. Choose a book, get a book club going. I'm going to challenge you to listen to one audio from the Go Core app daily. And I'm going to challenge you to identify your limiting beliefs and find someone you can trust and ask them to speak into you. Why? They're not emotionally attached to your limiting beliefs. And so they may be able to guide you and I beyond that roadblock. And once you've decided that, it's about rolling up our sleeves and going to work. Because there's many opportunities and many succeeding with lesser ability than you and I. But here's what I've learned, which I believe is the most important out of all those three, is successful people can quit, but they choose not to. They try, and they try, and they try again. See, many people have limiting beliefs that succeed and understand that failure is just part of the spectrum. The reality is that they live together. Many try to avoid failing. Many try to avoid being embarrassed, rejected. But let me tell you, those succeed and live the life and walk the beaches and do what they want to do on any day of the week because they pushed through and overcome their limiting beliefs. They accept, and that failure lives hand in hand with success. So when we've learned that failure is part of success, then we will develop that mindset. We may not see that right away, and that's why association is where others will believe in you before you believe in yourself. My first mentor, Marco, always casting that, hey, I can see you this time next year. Hey, I can't wait for you too. Casting and declaring and owning and projecting the direction of where my dreams lie. So I would go over them. So as we move past our limiting beliefs, then we can create a path that is two-way. We know that we have to face rejection. We know we have to grow, but that's how success flows. When we avoid it and we think we're on a path where we will never experience being uncomfortable, when we're on a path that we will never have to look embarrassed or be rejected, then our reality will remain where it is today. So remember, people like Marco Passanante, the other leaders, Orion Sala, Hilda, whatever career that you're involved with, maybe health and wellness as regards to personal training, maybe you're financier, maybe you're a realtor, maybe you're whatever you may do. If you actually look at those who are at the top of their profession, they are also people that had limiting beliefs. Those people that we look to, admire, and we want to become like or associate with, they simply acknowledge they had limited beliefs and they addressed them head on. Don't listen to the crowd that laughs. Don't listen to the people that are naysayers. Don't listen to those type of people. Because if you keep pushing through your limiting beliefs and are prepared to fail, then you will realize that through each failure, we become better, sharper, and our skill set grows. So as we think about that and believe in the possibilities of what our dreams can do, then we got to understand that the outside world influences the masses. But those who choose to not be influenced that way realize, as Napoleon said, as a man thinketh, so is he. What the mind can conceive, they can achieve. But most people who do not become successful think that others can influence them. What's between here is your greatest asset. What's between here, the way we think, is what we invest in 22 to make a new you, so you can be free in 23. So the biggest thing I've already shown you is our vision board. We hear it again and again, and to hear a founder and his wife, and both of them still putting their visions out there. Why? When you get there, you can see further. Why? Your belief grows. Your acceptance that there is no restriction, only the ones we put on ourselves. So a vision board is vital. So I want to share that with you one more time. Why? Take a screenshot. I want you to hold me accountable. 6 months in, quarter of the year in, towards the end of the year. Dave, how did you end up towards the scriptures for my faith people? Dave, how close are you to getting that Breitling on your wrist? See, my watch, I haven't worn a watch since the summer. I had a really nice watch that was broken, put it into a watchmaker in June or July of this year. They had to ring the Japanese manufacturer. They said they no longer did the component. And I refuse to wear a watch now until I hit my goal of ambassador, and then I will reward myself with my Breitling. But my biggest joy will be when I see a family taken off the street and put into a home and giving them an opportunity of a roof above their heads. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because the way we act now predicts how we become. Start living. Ask yourself, if you already had achieved your goals, if you were already fulfilling your dream, what kind of person would you be? Would you speak different? Would you stand differently? Would you have a spring in your step? Would you associate with different people? Would some of the people you're with now not be with you down the road? Well, Dave, I don't want to lose my friends. No, you don't lose your friends. You never lose your friends. You just outgrow them because they choose not to grow with you. So don't let them stop you from where you can be in 22. What would you wear? How would you wear it? So for some of you, you may have heard Marco ask me to speak on the last team call. Even when I was making 5 figures a month with Zinzino, I was still buying clothes from charity shops. Why? Because I had bought clothes from charity shops for a period of time, and that's a habit hard to break. Well, that's one of my limiting beliefs. Am I worthy to buy a pair of shoes that I really love without turning it upside down first to see how much it costs? Am I worthy to have it tailor-made? That's a limiting belief. How would you act? Who would you become? What actions do you now need to identify to start taking them like you are living in your future today? Because by acting as if, you will become the kind of person who is capable of creating the success you want. And you deserve it. But what you have to overcome is identify, and don't stay in the content of the box of past experiences that they have created for you. So often we're here, think outside of the box. I read this the other day and I loved it. Think outside of the box. No, don't think outside of the box, because that would say there's a box. Let's just get rid of the box and design the life that we want. It doesn't mean that you're going to quit your job, because most people, you build this part-time, you build this in windows of time where others choose not to, you choose to. Remember, do today what others won't, so you can do tomorrow's what others can't, no matter how long it takes you. So those 4 beliefs, the company believes in you. The team believes in you. Your dreams are worthy of your willingness to face your fears and chase them. It's time for you to believe in you. I should have taken that D off. You analytical people, you're already hyperventilating because he put believed. Don't sweat the small stuff, because here's to you being new in 22 so you can be free in 23. God bless everybody. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Boom, Mr. Ives. Amazing training, Dave. Thank you very much. so many notes taking, too much notes to even repeat anything. There's nothing more to add. Amazing stuff, and it's so true. I mean, I hope everybody here really work hard because they put it well, how to build belief in the company. I mean, you look at Cinzino, how can't you believe in Cinzino? Look at it. Read independent science, what happens if you're out of balance, the product as well in that, right? And then believe in the team. I mean, with people like Dave, you heard from, and many of the other top leaders and that you're gonna hear from tonight. And then of course, your dreams and that you're worthy and believe in you because there is no limitations. And what Dave said, you know, think outside the box. I mean, realize there is no box. Don't let anybody tell you there is a box because there is no box. I've been looking, there is no box. So amazing training, and let's dive into the next speaker. We have a packed schedule, is 2 hours and 45 minutes for you. So let's dive in. The next one is our Royal Crown. She's a health professional. She's a mother, and moved recently from South Africa to Amsterdam. I'm excited for this training as well. We know she's a great speaker. I'm looking for her here because there she is. Make co-host. Guess she's here. So Royal Crown from South Africa, Samantha Pierce. So here's Samantha. Sam.
I'm here, Marco. Thank you so much. As always, it's such a privilege to be able to share on this platform. So thank you very much for entrusting me to bring a message this afternoon that I hope is encouraging and inspiring for each person who has set aside time in their day to be a part of this call. And before I get started, I just want to thank Dave, not only for such an incredibly powerful, inspirational, it's not a speech, it's a life-giving encouragement, because, you know, friends, in 2019, Dave reached out as a friend to Kirsten and I, because he was concerned about our health. And that led us on a path to completely change our lives. So Dave, thank you for just being that friend to Kirsten and I and impacting our lives. And Marco, thank you for leading this team known as 1Mondo. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. That speech was given by Theodore Roosevelt in 1910. After his presidency, he was traveling around the world, and he shared it in France to encourage people who were looking to improve their lives. The critics were going at them and sharing and telling them why they couldn't improve their lives, why they had to just live in that box that life had destined them to be. Friends, Theodore Roosevelt gave that speech 112 years ago, but yet it is still so pertinent today. How many times have we heard, it won't work, you can't do it, no. The credit belongs to the man, and from this point, man refers to man or woman, who is actually in the arena. The critics, friends, that tell you your dreams don't matter. The critics who tell you that this won't work and I've done it before and it didn't work for me, you're wasting your money, you're building something illegal. The critics who go on and on in your ear are people who have lost their dreams. They've lost their hope. They've lost the belief in themselves. And so what they've done is they've stepped out of the arena. They've given up on their own futures. They've given up on their own hopes, their own ambitions, their own ability to change their circumstances. They've given up. They've been hurt. And yet we give them permission to crush our own dreams, to decide whether our own goals are worth pursuing. Why? Why is their voice, that critic's voice, so much louder in your ear than your own hope, your own dream, your own ambition, that whispering of your heart that says, I deserve more, I am worthy of more. Surely there is greatness within me and I can achieve that. Friends, where you find yourself today, you can choose to get back into the arena, to cast aside the doubts of others and to say, I recommit. 2022, I'm actually going to pursue my dreams with everything that's inside of me, and I'm going to fulfill that longing in my heart, whatever it may be. And so to encourage you to get back into the arena, friends, grab your goal setting list for 2022. Choose to sit down and decide why you joined Zinzino. Decide what your goals are, because here's the thing, friends, you are worthy of achieving those goals. As Dave was sharing, we're only limited by our own beliefs. We get ourselves out of the arena because we listen to the critic. So take control of that. Sit down with your goal list and go strategically through it. Because friends, that's how we get back into the arena. The credit belongs to the one whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again. When I read that, I just see the gladiator in the arena. The gladiator who is literally fighting for his life. And as he falls over, he picks himself up, he dusts himself off. There's blood, there's sweat, you can see the exertion on his face, but yet he continues to strive. Friends, this business is not about perfection. If your goal is perfection, you'll never achieve your dream, because perfection doesn't exist in reality. It's about showing up daily. It's about showing up consistently, regardless of what our emotions tell us, regardless of whether we're feeling motivated or not. Friends, I know how that feels. I know what it feels like to get up in the morning and think, oh, okay, I've got to do this, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like hearing another no. I don't feel like making another phone call, but that's not what it's about. Because our goals don't wait for us to feel motivated. Our goals don't wait for us to feel like it's a good day to pursue them. Our goals are waiting, and it's up to us to daily, consistently pursue them. We are fighting, friends, for our own lives. The choices we make today give us the future that we hope for tomorrow. Is your life, as you have it now, as you dream it will be in the future, is it worth daily, consistent action in the direction that you want to go? I trust, friends, that you're screaming yes. I trust that you are so convicted in your own beliefs that you cannot be held back anymore. Because if you don't feel that way, friends, you've got to find that something that's going to push you. So how do we get back into the arena? We have daily action steps that we pursue, that we diligently tick off, that we consistently focus on to help us achieve those goals. Because friends, motivation is not going to be there every day, but discipline takes that place. I've often heard we share, it's what's done in the darkness that puts you in the light. It's the things that you do when nobody is watching that allows you to stand on a platform and speak. Even if you make a mistake, even if you fall short, if you err, again and again. It's about fighting for your dream. The credit belongs to the one who spends himself for a worthy cause. What is your worthy cause? What is it that gets you out of bed and drives you towards your future? What is it that puts you on fire for this business of Zinzino and reaching out to people and impacting their lives? Friends, if it wasn't for Dave, who legitimately had a concern for Kirsten's health and my health, who wasn't looking to sign up another partner, although I'm pretty sure he was pretty glad that we did. But what he had was a cause, a purpose to fight, to improve others' health, to improve others' lives. What is your worthy cause? Figure it out and then devote yourself to it. I had an aha moment a couple of days ago where all of a sudden the pennies kind of dropped and it kind of brought my why into extreme focus. And the shift, friends, for me was tangible because it wasn't this ethereal, I want to change the world. Yes, those dreams are good and they are important, but they're not enough to get me out of bed and moving in a direction of pursuing my dreams. We have to understand that why, that worthy cause, because that, friends, is what's going to push us through the times when we hear the no's. It's going to push us through those times where we have lack of belief in ourselves. It's going to push us through the times when, the delivery isn't what it should be and we get frustrated. It's going to push us through those times that we understand, regardless of those circumstances, my dream, my goal, my purpose is worth fighting for. If you don't know what that focus is, friends, I encourage you to take time to sit with it, to meditate with it, and to figure out what it is that's going to drive you. It's so important because, friends, your future depends on it. The credit belongs to the one who knows at best the triumph of high achievement. What is it going to look like when you achieve the goal that you've set before yourself for 2022? How is it going to feel when you can sit back and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did it. I did it. I committed to a goal and I achieved it. Friends, the launch of South Africa, the Zinzino South Africa, was a long process. It was way longer than we anticipated. But yet, when we were able to push that button, we could sit back and say, we did it. We achieved what we had set out to do. That didn't mean now we can sit on our laurels and, wait for things to happen. We set new goals. We pushed the finish line a bit further away because there's more for us to accomplish. But friends, allow yourself permission to say, what if this works? What if I'm successful? What if I set myself the goal of director or crown or royal crown or ambassador for the end of 2022? What if I actually achieve it? When we have that vision in front of us, when we decide to pursue this goal, friends, and you achieve it, it is an incredible realization of what you can accomplish when you set your mind on something. And in a world of instant gratification, when we expect things to just fall into our place, that sweet satisfaction of working for something and earning something that no one can take away is powerful. I want you to visualize that moment. I want you to understand that moment, to live it, to breathe it, to believe it, and then bring it to fruition. Prepare yourself mentally for success, and you will achieve it. The credit belongs to the one who, at worst, at least fails while daring greatly. What else is there? What is the backup plan, friends? Because if we don't reach our dreams, we don't reach our goals, we live a life of mediocrity. And every single person who is watching here today, be it live stream, be it live, be it recording, whatever it is, friends, you are meant for so much more than what you are allowing yourself to live. There is so much greatness inside of you. I wish you would see that and dare greatly pursue those dreams, because friends, that's what life is about. It's about living something bigger than this small image that we have of ourselves. Dare greatly. Pursue your dreams. Do the work. You deserve it. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who knows at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Friends, it doesn't matter what happened last year, what happened last week, or even what happened this morning. You can choose to step into the arena right here, right now. You can choose to dare greatly to pursue those dreams which have set your heart alight. You can choose to defy the critics, the naysayers, the doubters, and change your life. You can choose to determine your future. You can get into the arena. Thank you very much.
Boom. Thank you, Sam. Amazing, amazing. Great message, powerful message, Sam. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys really take these words to heart, you know, and that written by Roosevelt, it's so powerful. You should all Google it and reread it and read it again. I remember a decade ago, first time I heard that one, I read it so many times and took in those words. And it's what you do in the dark as well, as Sam said, that makes you shine in the light. And powerful, Sam. Thank you very much for everything you do, and thank you. So team, wow, that was amazing. And you know, that it's so powerful that from Roosevelt, what he said about the critics and that, and that made me think about another poem that I really love, and that's by Tecumseh. I don't know if you heard that. It's from a movie called Act of Valor. I want to share it because I think that's, you know, because the critics, there's so many people, we let the critics talk us out of our dreams, talk us out of daring or negative person or whatever that is. So when it comes to this is another poem that I love. It's beautiful, but I want you to listen to this. It's Tecumseh. It's called Live Your Life. And because this is something we have to think about, you know, based on what she said. It's so easy to doubt ourselves, right? So that poem that Tecumseh, that because you live one time, right? So listen to this poem. It's so powerful. You can find it on YouTube after an Act of Valor, Tecumseh poem. It says, it's called Live Your Life. It says, so live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about the religion. Respect others in their view and demand that they respect yours. Love your life. Perfect your life. Beautify all things in life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Prepare a noble death song for the day when you go over the great divide. Always give a word or a sign of salute when meeting or passing a friend, even a stranger, when in a lonely place. Show respect to all people and grovel to none. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing. For abuse turns the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of its vision. When it comes your time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home. The one Sam said, Roosevelt said, and this one I read him so many times a decade ago, or over a decade ago actually now, when I had so many doubts in myself. And I read those two, and one is the critics, because my friends would ridicule me. My father said I could never succeed at these things. And I read this, and then I looked at people who had what I wanted, and then I read this about Tecum, said that because life passed quick, right? And like I heard Les Brown say once, he said, few people live their life. He said, most people die at 25, but they don't get buried until 65 or later. Because after 25, they stop growing, they stop learning, they stop living with passion. They let fears and doubts imprison them. So I think that from Roosevelt and that Tecumseh one, read those two for yourself and really don't only read them, look at those words and take them to heart. Because what Tecumseh said as well, we live with passion, focus on lifting others, focus on service to the people. And I think that's one of the secrets to a life of purpose, that is service to people. So team, let's go to spread that message together, because the world needs more leaders who genuinely cares about others, serves the people. We have too many politicians and people out there now. We have too many misleaders that just use people and misguide them based on their own dreams or their own goals and numbers or money. You can go out there and share good health, help people grow as individuals, and serve other people. Because as John C. Maxwell said when I was mentored by him, I was in Costa Rica with him, and he said, people are just self-service or egotistical people. They're always unhappy, or too often, he said, they are the one who lose motivation. Because if you're self-centered, you're going to too often focus on what they lack, your lack, what you don't have. But when you focus on other people, you never lose motivation, because there's always a person, there's always that new person with, you can see the eyes, how much they need it or they want it, they're willing to pay the price. You need to be there for them. You need to focus on them, because you serve your people, focus on their goal, you'll always be motivated. So let's go to the next speaker. Before we do that, we have one here. She's going to wave to you. She can't speak. She's in there with a warm tea. At least you can wave. Sinab Risi, Black Crown from Austria, living in Dubai now since a year. And then when we talk about service to others, I know many of you know how much she's doing for the team and work. And she was part of 1Mondo community when we started back then. It was, Dave said 15. It was actually 16, Dave. So it's August 16. So September 2016 was the first month. And Sina was one of the people coming in, to look at Cinzino in Sweden, actually. I flew down Örjan and I brought in a couple of people, and Sina was one of them. And her sponsor, Fabian, sadly, he can make it today as well. You'll meet him and listen to him in Dubai, of course. He was one of the guys, and he's Black ambassador today, right? And he was not very positive. Come and look at Cinzino first. And and luckily they made a decision to join, and they look at them today and the growth they had. They're a huge inspiration for only 1Mondo community. And now we're going to hear from next speaker, who's actually one of the guys also that I flew in to look at Cinzino. He had tried his profession before, twice actually, 2 very bad experiences. He got burned twice. He was not positive either. So, but he's done an amazing job. He's today a Royal Crown. If you look every month, active Royal, over 100,000 credits, right? So he's closer to Black Crown. He'll hit it very soon. And also Dave touched on one thing before I want all of you to think about, because it's not what we make, it's how much money we keep, right? So just make sure you're putting percentage away. And because 1 year and 1 month ago, meaning we're walking in Dubai, And we talked about, you had no savings, nothing. And I told you need to put aside for taxes, for this and that. And he started doing this January last year, and going from no savings, nothing to today, 1 year and 1 month later, he has bought 2 real estates, buy to let, so he's renting residual income for 2 real estates. He has probably around 20K euros on his savings account, investment account as well. So it's inspiration as well, what you can do in 1 year, or what 1 year can change when it comes to that assets building and investing his money, being smart, intelligent with the money. That's what we want to teach our people. When we help people make good money, we have to help them keep good money as well and invest them smart, right? So I'm excited to hear him. His royal crown, which is in almost black. So from Spain, Javier de Miguel Coy. Are you here, brother?
Yeah, I'm here. So excited to be, and thank you, Marco, for that introduction, and thank you for everything you have done.
Thank you for everything you do.
And yeah, first of all, I just wanna, as I was saying, I'm super pumped, super excited, and I'm gonna put a timer because I don't go very well with the timing. So I'm gonna put this. I'm not overpass my time. But before I start, I wanna congratulate everybody. Happy New Year's, and what an amazing kickoff we have already. And this year it comes with so many new hopes, new dreams, new visions. And I love to listen first, Dave, talking about these limited beliefs, because we all have demons in our minds. We all have limited beliefs in our heads that we cannot even think what we can actually, all the potential that we have. And that's actually the thing is stopping us to really accomplish our greatest power. And I hope, as I was mentioning this before in the Spanish kickoff, that this kickoff is maybe the win that you need of hope. Hopefully this event is maybe the last thing that you need to take your life and your business to the next level, because now we're so amazed with 12 months of opportunity. We are amazed with 365 days of challenges and growth and experience and happiness and learnings, right? So this year is a year, it can be a different making for a lot of people, but you have to make the decision. And I love where actually Samantha was talking about the difference also between motivation and discipline, because it's two completely things. And you know what? We're in a brand new year. A lot of people are excited, right? It's excitement up and like people jump in and it's like, oh, Happy New Year. It's so funny when you actually see people like Happy New Year, like if anything is going to change in that middle of a second, and they're excited and they're like, everything is going to change this year. And the statistics shows that, like, I think it was over 75% of people leave the New Year resolution on the day 12th of January. So they're excited, they're pumped, they're like, this year's my year. They go like cheering, and then like the change from the 31st to the 1st of January, they're like, they're screaming, and they say, this year we're gonna do whatever, X, Y, and Z. And what happened 12 days later? They lost the motivation. They lost the motivation, and now they don't feel like it. Now we only like 4 days apart from that day. So hopefully you're not one of that person, because now you're in this call and you are making a decision. Now you're in this call and you are going to change from this motivation to discipline and habits. And this is what we're going to talk about of the skill sets you need to have in order to build an amazing business with Encino. Because everything you have in your hands. And why it's so important to attend into events. And we talk about events all the time. We promote it, we announce them, we talk about events. If you listen closely to all the conversations and all the speeches from different speakers, they're always going to talk about a major thing happening in the event that change their mindset, the focus, or something, what nugget, what little idea, what was something that probably they knew, but they didn't act on it. And thanks to that event, something changed. And now we have some different events coming up. And what is events is made for? the events are made of to bring your fire, your inner fire you have in you. Because some people in this school are fighting like a big flame. They're like a strong flame, and they're warming a lot of people. They're helping thousands of people. They're changing people's lives. Some people has started this business, and first they were excited, but they lose this motivation. They lose this hope. So these fires start going down, and they start leaving ashes. And what happened? So you come again into this event, and it's a new blow of wind, a new energy comes. And what happened with these ashes? They start growing up. They start getting some more heat. They start, like, think of it when you're actually in a fire, you start putting some wind, the fire start growing, right? Then it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's why it's the event for. So going from taking the what you have already in you, because you already have that. So no one is gonna take create something out of what you already have, because you already have greatness on you. We're the best creation in this earth, in this planet. So you have to take pride of that. You have to take pride of what you're doing and what is happening, and actually to be able to bring all your fire that you have in you in this year, because you don't serve anyone by being quiet. You don't serve anyone by not living to your 100% potential. And yeah, of course, we talk about dreams, we talk about goals, we talk about money, we talk about different things, but mostly we always talk about changing people's lives, because that is what really we do. Number one, with a product. Secondly, with the mindset, in order to actually be able to acquire all the dreams and inspiration, because we only need one word of one person who gives us hope, one person who is there and tell us you can do it. And that person, I always say, and that's why I want to start saying this, it was Marco all the way along. And he actually was this word of hope. He saw a potential that I didn't see first on me, and he was keeping on it. He was giving, this wind, so I can start getting this fire out. And that is what the purpose we have with our teams. How we actually creating our teams. We giving hope, we give inspiration, or we demotivate them because they're going at the speed they want to. Because we have to always look how we're serving. And I love what also they was put in there in the comments about, if you actually focus on yourself, you can make some money, but you actually help on other people, you can actually make wealth. And what is the skills in order to make wealth? And first of all, and this is such an amazing thing, I don't know what happened from the kickoff that we have to now, my keynote actually disappeared. So I'm gonna show it, it's like this. So what happened? Leaders always find solutions, right? And I prepare a different way that I want to show it. So it's gonna be challenged. It's always things gonna happen in the process. So the thing, we can be like, oh, I don't have the things I prepare. Oh, hey, I don't have the things I prepare. So now I need to create it again. I can do it again. So actually I can leave the same value I was preparing for. And I want to first start with this short 3-minute video of creating momentum, because when we're launching our business, when we're building our business, we can't overcomplicate things. And I want to show how simple at the end is leadership. Can you guys listen? No. Sorry, you're gonna.
Very low, very low.
Okay, so here, and done.
In under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut, and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers, because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So who's ready to dance? Who's ready to create this movement? And and you see how amazing, like this short clip show the path of different of the growth of the momentum. At first, you have to keep it easy. You have to keep it simple. You don't have to overcomplicate things. And also was explaining as well, it's not about you, it's about the movement. So you have to create leaders. It's not about you can do the things and overcomplicate and he trying to do backflips, front flips. And this is actually also an amazing thing, because how many times we have seen a show and we're like, oh, wow, it was amazing, but for me, it's impossible to do, right? But what this guy have done, he was doing like this. Like he was doing like this and crazy moves like this. Everybody can follow. Everybody can do these moves. It was not like magic or not like rhythm. Actually, he was like just letting flow as well. So what happened as well for you, don't overcomplicate your business and trying to look amazing and everything has to be great and everything has to be done with any mistakes, because that's the huge mistake if you try not having mistakes. We all make mistakes. Look at this. I don't have right now the slides and I have to do like improvise somehow. So always is going to be mistakes on the ways. So how you can create a movement. It's not about you can do everything. It's how you can transform into a movement. How you can actually leave some small steps so everybody can follow. And it's not about you having how to do everything. Just follow one person. If you got one person following you, this is where everything starts. So think about this. So many people leave this business because there's like, they quit too early before they have the first leader. They have the first person who follows and actually solve the steps. So you only need first one person, and one person can change dramatically your business. Because first you learn the skills, you learn the moves. And what's the skills? You actually need only to learn 7 skill sets in order to become a professional in this business. And this is something that we all can learn. It's not rocket science. It's not impossible to do. But of course, it takes discipline and consistency like anything we want to do. We already talk about most people actually lose motivation after the day 12. Why? Because they lose discipline. And that, if I can put that in a skill, that would be skill number 1, discipline. Discipline is such an important and consistency into this business. So then we go through different 7 skills. Number 1 is finding prospects. And now with the world we live in, it's so funny when someone says, I talk with everybody. And I have shared about this before, but it's so funny to me when people are like, oh, I talk with everybody. And it's like, how you did it? How amazing you are. So you only been in the business for 2 weeks, 1 week, and you already spoke with everybody in the planet Earth. In this company, we've been in business for 16 years and don't even be able to actually talk with 1% of the whole population. How you did it? How you were able to communicate with everybody? So no, what he's talking about is he talks about his limited beliefs of I stalk everybody I think they will be interested on. And I know I have 1 minute, so I'm gonna have to see how I can do this. So they talk about how I can I talk with everybody that I think they can be interested. And that's actually one of the first things you already put in limits to yourself and to your business by thinking for them. You don't have to think for them. You only have to show them. And you know what? Actually, some people first they're gonna ridicule you, like send them the video, but then later you're gonna join you. But you have to keep with the message, keep with the simplicity. Second, you have to learn how to invite. Invitation is crucial. How you can actually have people coming into having a look if they don't have an invitation. You think they're gonna knock to your door and be magically happening? Of course not, right? So you need to invite them. You have to call them, text them, or actually invite them to have a look. And it's so many different ways. And actually, I would recommend always, especially the first and the most potential partners, call them, because most people they don't call these days. And what happened when you call? Immediately you send a message. This is urgent. This is important. Get my call because I need to talk to you. If you don't think this about this, but this is what it comes to them psychologically, because most people they text. When you call, it's like, ooh, something is here, something important, right? Learn how to present the opportunity, because at first, yeah, you're gonna use all the people's story, you're gonna use all the people doing the presentations for you, but then you have to take responsibility of your business. Learn to explain the business, learn about explaining about the sales and about the ratio, about how the products works, how actually the health protocol, learn about explaining the 4-4-10. You have to learn how to take responsibility on how to present the opportunity in order to be appealing for people to join. So first, yeah, people like your upline, your sponsor is going to do a presentations for you, but what happens if that person they cannot do it for 1 week? Your business has to stop? Of course not. So take responsibility to learn the skills necessary to present the business. Following up is crucial into the business because most of decisions are made on follow-ups. And you guys have heard about the story between Marco and Dave. Marco been following Dave for over, I think was 2-3 years. 2-3 years, following up consistently. How you doing? Keeping up, because actually following up is a sign of caring. If you care enough about someone, you want to be connected. You don't just want to throw in everything and ciao. No, because if you care about a person, you're going to follow up. You're going to keep in contact. You're going to keep touch bases. So when you actually present the business to someone that you care and that you think they have the potential, so keep in contact, keep approaching to that. And when you finish a presentation, always use bam fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So how actually that works? When you finish the meeting, you're not going to say, okay, love you, ciao. No, you're actually going to book the next meeting. Okay, if I send you, okay, what's the thing that you like the most? X, Y, and Z. If I send you this information, when you will review, I'll review on Tuesday. Okay, great. So Wednesday, we can make a call. So now that way, you don't have to be chasing them. Oh, they're going to reply me. They're going to text me. And they're like, hey, have you been the information I sent you? Have you had enough time to have everything and review everything? Of course, most people like this you're going to be annoying for them. And they're going to be like, really? It's him again, right? But if you actually already book a time, you actually act professionally and you say, hey, do you have time enough to see it? No, I didn't see it. Okay, you told me you were able to see it. Now, if you're really interested, we can reschedule a call. But if not, you just told me straightforward, and that's fine. So people, they're gonna take you more serious, and they're gonna see you are such a big professional that people also will like to follow. You actually, when someone decides to join, you help them to actually make it the decision. You help your prospect to start the right way. You once they are in and learn the skills of closing, of actually making a decision, you actually need to help them to start the right proper way. Because if you don't start the right proper way, they're going to make so many mistakes. They're going to be so lost. They're going to be feeling like this is impossible to do. And you see actually the dancing guy, he actually grabbed the arms from the other guy and start helping the first moves. So that's what we need to do with our partners. We need to help them with the first moves. And how we do this, booking the first 24 to 48 hours, a meeting when we bring the list and we invite together through different presentations. And then what? We're promoting events to bring the fire that we have already in us. So at the end, it's all go down to our pipeline. It's not about some people say this doesn't work. It's actually you're not willing to do it, because in the end, if you have enough pipeline, if you have enough people and conversations through this pipeline, it's impossible your business doesn't grow. It's impossible that business don't go through the next level, because that way you're in charge. You have your business in your hand and not just hoping that someone brings into the business and explode your business. Because that's a hoping business, a wishing business. And I guarantee you're going to be a very bad mood when things doesn't go through your way. But if you actually make the decision to become a professional and do the steps and follow the pipeline, you're going to learn about ratios. You're going to be, if you learn about the ratios, you're going to actually work on different skill sets in order to get better at that ratios and keep doing that thing in order to you become good in all these different areas in order to build your business to the level you want to build. Simple, right? What make it not simple? The focus. It's so easy to say, but it's so hard to keep focused through the whole year. And we have seen it through the months. So when a person get excited for a goal in a month, and then things happen and we lose the focus. And what is focus? Follow one course until successful. So this year, you have to make the decision to be focused. Focus on your goals. Focus on your dreams. Focus on working to make the best version of yourself ever. And how you can do this? By your DMO. Because we all have habits and rituals. What are the habits and the rituals you're actually doing every single day? And you actually have always to look what you have done to grow your business, your skill sets, your relationships, your health, and your finance. And if you grow all these areas, it's impossible for you to not have a tremendous 2022. So write down what's your 3 to 5 daily rituals, the daily activities that you need to do consistent till you get the result that you want to. And this, when you actually start applying all this, when you're actually going from making responsible of all these situations, you're going from getting from motivation to actually working through discipline, and going from just going through the roller coaster to actually going through the path of really changing your life and helping other people to change their life by keep it simple, having fun, and enjoying the process. So that was everything for me. Thank you, Marco, and thank you everybody from the team.
Super. Thank you, Javi. Great stuff, important stuff. And also this breaks it down to people see that if you just learn the skills, you can be successful. And the skills we need to be successful is skills that everybody learn. But we also learned that Spanish people with times, it's so funny. I said a timer, and then you said, I have 2 minutes left. That was, how long ago? How long ago was that? And you said yourself, I have 2 minutes left. And then it's so funny.
So 2 minutes, I'm going to be quick.
Great stuff, Javi. Thank you for everything you do for the 1Mondo community, for everything, and appreciate you a lot. And keep rocking. So let's dive into the next speaker. And she's been now with Zeno for almost 2.5 years. And no experience, came in and now have over 4,000 active customers. She's a crown. She's doing amazingly well. So bring your pen and paper and let's dive into crown from Norway, Trine Grun. You here, Trine?
I'm here. It's always like boom, and big records and everything going up to the roof. And we're sitting here on Zoom in the dark, and it's like, okay, yeah, I don't see the records, but I can feel them. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm like overloaded with enthusiasm now. So I'm thinking, oh God, am I going to build upon top of Dave and Sam and Javi and build upon their energy, or am I just going to take it down a notch? I haven't decided yet, so we'll see where we're going. But thank you so much, Marco, for trusting me and believing enough in me to have a speech. This is my first formal speech, I would say, in 1Mondo. I don't know. I've done some stuff in 1Mondo, but yeah, no experience. I started 2.5 years ago. Just got approached by Camilla Stene in a restaurant in Ålesund, where she's from, and the rest is history. So I want to really dive into something that has been important for me in these 2.5 years. And what I have learned that is important, that I thrive to learn others in my team. And I hope that you have a pen and paper, and I hope that there will be something that you can take out of it. I would love to have some constructive criticism afterwards, because of course we only learn by others not always applauding and saying we're brilliant, but also by getting constructive criticism afterwards. So I love that. That's how I learn and I thrive after. And my topic is education, or educate and taking action. Action is not a problem for me. But I want to talk a little bit about education. And I said something about this on the director trip, because understanding my why is understanding also a little bit about my background. I grew up in a family with highly educated people. My dad is an oral surgeon. My brother is highly educated, and also my other brother and my sister, she's a scientist. And it's been a struggle for me being a personality in the family, because I was a rebel growing up, and I had big visions and I wanted things, and they were totally different from me. For them, it was all about the numbers and all about the living inside the box, and I was always outside the box. So I didn't fit in to my family. And I grew up with a dad saying, without an education, Trina, you will not be anything. Per definition, I haven't been anything, because in my rebel years, I decided to quit school. I stayed a year in the United States, and as an exchange student, I came back and I did 1.5 years in school, and I was so sick and tired of it. I wanted to work. I wanted to go out and live my life the way I wanted to do. So I started working at a gas station, and I thought it was amazing. And you know why? Because I got to talking to people every day. I was the best seller behind the counter, because I talked to everybody who came in, because I was so sick and tired of sitting at school, opening all these books and learning and learning and learning. And I didn't grasp the education. The normal school system wasn't for me, because I'm educated, but I'm educated in life. So I loved working at the gas station. I thought it was so much fun. I got to talk to people, and I said, are you sure you're not going to have a Coke with that sausage? Are you positive? And I made them laugh. And that made my sales to go up. So every time there were coming in some new people, the manager would say, just look at Trina, she knows how to do sales. And I was just being me. I was being a personality. And in my family, that was not good enough. My dad today, we had a long conversation this morning, brought a lot of emotions in me, because he today understands it. And he's very sad that he said these things. So today we can talk about these things, just to put that clear. So when I met Camilla, okay, I've done a lot of things in my career. I've done a lot of TV and radio and all that, but that has never been my goals to set out and do those things. They just happened. I just did them, and my personality drove me further into that type of career. I've been a blogger since 2004, and everybody would go, wow, you did all these things in all these years, and everybody will be blown away. But inside here, I was never truly happy, because I was always looking for other people to applaud me, and other people to acknowledge me, and other people to see me. I didn't see myself. And that is the most important thing that you can do, seeing yourself. And I've done a long journey of working within myself. I've done 3 years of school with therapy included in the school. So it's been an amazing journey for me. And that's why I also love this industry, because in the direct selling and network marketing industry, we also need to tap into here, because if we are not strong here, it's very hard to see others and their struggles. So I'm today grateful for my struggles growing up. That I must say. And when I met Camilla, Örjan, and Hilde, it was suddenly all about my personality. And I get emotional, and I did this on the director trip. I get emotional every time I say that, because that was the first time when I walked in together with Camilla in Örjan's house, and I sat down and we had a 2 or 3 hours long discussion. They already knew who I was, because I'm not famous, but a lot of people in Norway who know who I am. It wasn't about Trina, the celebrity, in some way. It was about me and my personality and what I could achieve. And I'm really, really thankful for that, because that was the first time. I was 48 years old, and that somebody said that your personality is good enough. So it's been a journey for me in many ways. And I'm coming to the education. I'm going to talk faster. Because treating this business and treating this side gig for many people like a craft is important. For me, taking action was no problem. I just went out talking to people, and that's not a problem for me because I'm a talker. I didn't understand and respect in the beginning the educational part of doing this business. I thought, I'm going to do this. This is a personality thing. I'm going to win a lot of people over. And I just started recruiting people. I recruited many people. I think I'm close to 80 people I've recruited in these 2.5 years, maybe 90. I'm not sure. I don't have the numbers. Camilla knows I'm not strong with numbers, but I have recruited a lot of people. But the 10 first people didn't get started. I thought they were all like me. It's just, okay, this is your web shop. This is the products. Here's your something you can read. And then blah, blah, blah. The first goal is 4 customers. And then we're going to look for partners that can join us. And then your goal is 10 customers. I did all that. I told them everything that I've learned, but there are no customers coming in. So it's important. And that's one thing that I really, really emphasize in the team is the importance of respecting the new partners coming in and learning them the system and spending time with them. Because if you don't, it's not just about signing up a person and starting enrollment and doing whatever with them. So I started doing a lot of health talks at home at all the new partners when I saw the customers didn't come in. And I committed myself to get a lot of customers. So the customer base has grown very well because I have worked a lot helping others in the team getting customers. So if you want to do something and maybe be an international leader, like many of these guys and girls talking before me and after me are, you need to start educating yourself. If that is your goal, that is what I would love for you to sit with after I'm done talking. I don't talk English every day, so it's a bit messy every now and then, because it's easy to attend events like this and sit down and just get inspired. It's easy. It's easy to listen to inspirational talks. It's easy to read a book. That's just sitting down and doing something. I got so irritated when I was at the first annual event and people were sitting on their phones. Okay, I do sit on the phone, but when I sit on the phone, I take notes. I don't sit on the phone looking at other people in social media. And I was looking around and some people at the team were sitting on their phones and I knew that they were scrolling because I could see that they were liking other people's stuff. I was like, what? Are we here to get educated? I want to get educated. I wanted to learn how to do this, and I'm not good at it yet, but I've done a lot in a few years, and I'm going to build this to the sky. That's my main goal. But I want you to respect that you are looking for people to educate, because there are 2 reasons why people don't do this business, and it's mostly, it is 2 things. I've learned this from many people on YouTube now. I've seen so many YouTube videos the last 3 months. It's two things. Either they're thinking, one, they cannot do this. Two, they need education because they don't know anything about this industry. So if you chip your mindset over to, I'm looking for not recruiting this and this and this and this. I'm looking to I'm looking for people to educate. It's so much easier because then it shifts in your mindset. It's easier to talk to Lisbeth if you're thinking, I'm going to educate you to do this. I know you don't know how to do it now. I'm going to teach you. And you have that in your mind when you approach people, both customers and both partners. The whole thing will shift for you. That it did for me when I heard this YouTube video in this summer. I shifted. I was like, and okay, I'm lucky because when I hear one thing, I never go back. And I had an amazing days, couple of days with Fabian and Javier this summer, shifted my whole mindset because I understood more. I learned more and I adapted. What I learned. And we all need to adapt what we learn. So look for people to educate and have that in the back of your mind. That's the only sentence I want you to take away from this. Okay, I started out with no education and I want to educate people in this business. So that is the one thing I want to take with before we really dive into the energy with Kirsten. I know he's coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. And then Örjan is going to lift the roof of this Zoom call. Hope you all have a good day. Thank you so much for having me, Marco. So look for people to educate. Thank you.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you. Great stuff. And Trina, I remember the first time after Camilla did start with you and I tried to get a good start with you, get you to educate and do those stuff. It was a start, and now it's finally, this is what you're preaching now, right? And congratulations on all the success you had, Trina. Thank you very much. So let's dive into the next speaker. Trina already said who's next. Royal Crown from South Africa. Great speaker, great leader. And let's dive in. From South Africa, living in Holland since a couple of months, Kirsten Pierce.
Thank you, Marco. Appreciate it. Before I jump in, just want to take the time to acknowledge the team. Absolutely fantastic being a part of this family. And most importantly for us in this team, our sponsor, Dave Ives, you're a legend. I appreciate you, buddy. And a lot of what I'm going to share today, you encompass as a leader. And so I want to thank you for that. So let me start off with this because I'm not going to waste any time because I will end on time. Javi, just watch how this works when you work with a timer. Was that subtle enough? I'm just going to share that quickly. But here is what I want to share with you today. You are not the leader that you want to be. You are not the leader that you want to be yet. You see, one of the things that I think we overuse is the word leader. We give it away too easily. We give it away like it's saying to people, I love you. I tell my children all the time, don't just tell the first person that you think is amazing, you love them. Wait until you know that you know. Because what we do as humanity is we take strong concepts and we cheapen them. We give them away too easily. Somebody achieves a rank in the direct selling industry and automatically we call them a leader. Friends, here is the reality. Your rank does not make you a leader. You may be sitting on this call as a director, a crown, a royal crown, a black crown. You could be Starfleet commander, and the reality is you may not be a leader. And that is something that is extremely sobering, because when you realize that leadership or being a leader is not a title, but it's a verb, it's a doing thing. What happens is you walk into the freedom of understanding that this is something that you can acquire. I hear people tell me all the time, but that person is naturally gifted as a leader. They're so lucky. And I'll kind of just allow that train of thought to say some people are naturally gifted with some things like being enigmatic or being able to rouse people to make decisions. You can often say, I can see leadership potential in that person. They have such great potential, but no one is a born leader. People become leaders by exercising good leadership skills. Now, when you understand that, I would rather rewrite that and say that leadership is circumstance added to persistence. Let me say that one more time for each and every person who's taking notes, and I hope you are today. Circumstance plus persistence creates good leaders. So when we start to take a look at this thing of leadership, and you would say, well, Kirsten, I want to be a good leader, then I'm going to say to you, you've got to be better. You've got to be better at the things that you can put a pin in as good leaders. Now, I'm not here saying I am the best leader and I have got all these things covered, because I can tell you that not one person on this call that will speak today is the perfect leader. But what you will see is people in various stages of understanding their leadership. And what that will do is it'll show you and give you hope, because oftentimes those that are the best leaders were not those that were naturally gifted. They're those who understood that this was an action that could be learned. It was a skill set. It was something that you could teach yourself. It was these skills and these cultural things that you could do that determine that you're a leader. And I want to leave you with 10 things today that you can work on, and you can rate yourself. And I love what Dave did, where he said, rate yourself here 0 to 10. Where are you on these scales? And ask yourself that question for each of these. The second thing I want to share with you is there is a great congruency through today's talks. I prepared 3 different talks for today on leadership, 3 different ones with the title Leader Loading, meaning you're building, it's about evolving. And just hearing how some of these things have come out today, I want to share one specific one with you because of some of the commonalities. So point number 1 is this: lead when you need to. Lead when you need to. Friends, here is the simplest I can distill this. You will need to lead at times, and there are times where you will need to follow. Those are the 2 states you will find yourself in as a leader, and a good leader knows when to lead, and a good leader knows when to follow. Rather, let me say a good leader knows when to lead, and a great leader knows when to follow. Friends, it's not always about leading all the time, but sometimes following can be the greatest form of leadership that you can demonstrate and express. Point number 2 is this, and this is the point that made me pick this part of my preparation. Lead for the cause, not for the promotion. Why are you actually doing this? I mean, Dave and Sam did a great job of covering these 2 things in different ways, but around the same focus. Why are you doing this? What is your cause? You see, if you lead to achieve your dreams, your goals, your visions, well, friends, you're set up for dramatic success. If you lead just to earn more money, it'll be so thinly veiled, cheap reproduction that you will never, ever achieve that point of getting to something that you truly want. Now, money may be part of the dream. It may be part of the goal, but even if you just chase a rank for the sake of a rank, and I've seen people do this in the industry for 20 years, they buy into ranks to get a title that doesn't make them any better than the day before they qualified. You see, friends, when you pursue the cause, what happens is you become a part of the cause. You become a missionary for the cause. You become somebody that becomes sold out. What is your cause? Well, I can tell you what my cause is. My cause is to allow my family to live on our terms. My cause is to give my children choices that I didn't have when I grew up. My cause is to help people that join and partner with myself and Sam create 6- and 7-figure incomes. My cause is to help single moms live a life of significance where they can give their kids on one income what they truly want to be able to give their children. Those are part of what wraps up who we are as business builders in Kirsten and Sam. But what is your cause? You see, when you build for the cause, when you lead for that cause and not just for the promotion or the accolade, what happens is you become a true great leader. Point number 3 is speak out. Speak out. One thing that you will know about Kirsten Pierce is that if you ask him to share a thought, he will share a thought. I've often sat on boards of companies for friends and advised and been a part of cultures, and I always add my 2 cents. Because when you're in a part of a team, you should be contributing. Somebody said to me once, Kirsten, why do you always have an opinion on things that we're talking about? And I said to them, because you asked me to be here to add value, not to sit here just to help push through ideas that you think are great. You see, friends, what true leaders do is they speak their minds, but they allow those ideas not always to be followed through on. I've shared some things with Marco. We had a conversation a couple of days ago. Marco said this, he said, Kirsten, we get on so well because we agree on everything except for one thing that you've said. And I know what that one thing is, and Marco knows, and you can see it, you can see him on the screen, he's laughing. But this is the thing, I speak my mind. I share what it is that I believe are my core truths. We don't have to agree on everything, but there are some things that are just not worth fighting for. But I don't ever want to get to the point where Marco doesn't know what I'm thinking and I don't know what Marco's thinking. So I would much rather that we share, learn to speak out, even if it's not your natural personality. Now, this is not just adding conversation or points to something just for the sake of adding points, but if you truly feel something, share it, particularly in leadership contexts. Number 4, know your team. Friends, if you can't tell me what the cause is that your personals are involved in this business for, you need to reevaluate how you're connecting with your personals. You see, I can pull out any number of the people that are in my team, and I can share with you what they're looking to achieve, why they're a part of Encino, what their short, medium, and long-term goals are. And that's because I've been part of the process. Now, this is not because I'm great at this. It's because I had a leader who led me, who was great at this, who taught me how to be intrinsically connected and involved into knowing our team. Should you be phoning for birthdays? Should you know anniversaries? Should you know their kids' names? Yeah. Should you know if they're battling? Should you know by when you chat to them on the phone whether they're having a good day or not? Yes, you should. Great leaders know their team, and most importantly, they respect them. Friends, I'm going to give you $1 million tip right now. You're not going to like everybody that's on your team. But if you want to create a 7-figure income, you have to respect them. I don't get on with everybody in my team, but I heard this phrase a long time ago. You can either be right or you can be rich. My late father, well, my late stepdad, who was my dad. I just feel like I need to confirm that sometimes. I'll talk about a lot of dads I've had. But this is a powerful thing. You can either be right or you can be rich. And what I've realized is that you don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to even stand behind everything, but you do have to respect everyone. Now, if you can know your team and you can respect them, you give people a safe environment where they feel that they can be who they are. Great leaders have teams that feel comfortable in their own skin, where they don't feel like they have to perform or be somebody else. Number 6, this is a big one, not my strong suit. If I had to point out one here that I am not great at, this would be it. Be extremely accountable. Now, let me quantify that. Am I accountable? Most definitely. I don't know of anybody that takes responsibility for things that go wrong in their teams like I've been taught to. This is an old Amway thing. Dave will know this. There's a phrase called this: you're the jerk. If something goes wrong in your business, you're the jerk. Don't put it on somebody else. Don't blame somebody else. You're the person that takes responsibility. Now, that might be an easy one. So when deliveries go wrong, I'll pick up the phone and apologize to the partner. When a box is squashed, I'll pick up the phone to say, I'm so sorry, can I swap it out for you? You know, what we've got to realize, now listen to this phrase, and this is something I want to add here. The size of the leader will be entirely relative to the size of the obstacles they can overcome. Let me say that again. This is point number 11 for free. The size of the leader will be directly proportional to the size of the obstacles that they overcome. You see, friends, often what happens is we allow these relatively small things to shipwreck us, when in reality, we should be stepping over those little things. But accountability is not just about taking this responsibility for what happens in our business. Accountability is allowing yourself to be in a position where somebody can say to you, honestly, Kirsten, you're not fulfilling the things that you set out to do. You told me that it was important enough to you to live life on your terms, to create a lifestyle for your kids, to be able to live like you never had the choices as a kid. But you're choosing to do things, or you're choosing not to do things that are not allowing that to come into fruition. That's accountability. You see, there are very few people that I trust to be able to share those kinds of thoughts with me. 2 of them are on this call right now. Third one will join a little bit later. He may be here already. But that accountability is something that you've got to give to somebody else. You've got to say to somebody, I want you to walk this road with me. Hold me accountable. And that's tough. If you've got my personality, it's extremely tough. But friends, can I tell you, it is a powerful, powerful thing when you realize that accountability is not somebody holding a whip over you saying, have you done your 33 phone calls for the week? Accountability is keeping the vision and the dream that that person has set in front of them as the main thing in their lives, so that they don't relent, they don't back down, they don't give up and shipwreck their dreams for things that actually don't count. Friends, I can tell you that we're here having achieved what we've done in the industry. Are we the biggest builders? No. Have we done okay? Yeah, we've done okay. But we're here where we are right now because there were some people who said to us, you're not doing what you said you would set out to do. Friends, it's tough, but I would hazard a guess that upwards of 85% of people that are successful in their given fields would have an accountability partner, somebody who just calls a spade a bloody shovel. You know, we need those people in our lives that are just blunt, right? That just, there's no frivolity, there's no verboseness, there's just brutal honesty. Man, that is a powerful thing. Number 7, trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Now, this is a tough one to quantify, but I can tell you that some of the biggest decisions that we've made in our lives have been based on intuition. Friends, we left our previous company and came here to Zinzino based on intuition. We had the intuition that we would do something significant here and this company would do something significant. People laughed at us. My upline said, are you sure you want to walk away from $1 billion turnover a year company and go to a company that doesn't even doing the same amount of sales in total of one of our smaller lines? And I said to him, this company is going to be a legacy company in the industry. Sometimes you've got to trust your intuition. Sometimes you will look at somebody and they won't be the perfect prospect, but you'll intuit that there is something about them that you're connected to. They've been put in your path for a reason. Trust your intuition. Friends, some of our biggest builders in our networking career have been people that you would not want in your business. If I can be very blunt, my greatest success story in networking was a guy that came to a meeting with his dad. He had just been posted bail. He was caught buying drugs in the center of Johannesburg, and he came with a cop to the meeting. There are 4 kind of disqualifiers, right? That guy went through, I think, 107 no's, if I remember correctly. 107 people told him, no, we won't build a business with you, until he got one person who said yes, who only ever put in one person who said yes on the side of a river at a canoeing race. But something told me to stick with this guy through years of no's, to showing plans to people who were not great prospects. And what ended up was the fastest growing business, in the fastest growing team, in the fastest growing province, in the fastest growing country, in the company that we were with, through one person that our intuition told us we should stick with, even though every other warning sign was telling us run a mile. Friends, trust your intuition. Great leaders trust their intuition. Number 8, your positivity is contagious, and your negativity is virulent. Now, we live in a world where we understand those words, right? Contagious and virulent. You fly in a plane now and you're hoping the person next to you isn't sneezing and coughing and touching you with their hands that they haven't washed or sanitized. But when you realize as a leader, a great leader, that your positivity is contagious, it really means that you've got to take note of what you're putting into your team. What are you really imparting to those people that you're chatting to, that you're leading? Because if we realize that our positivity, the things we say, the things that we do, even the things that we think, remember, thoughts are things. Those things will have a dramatic effect on the people that you lead. But when you realize too that our negativity can be even more virulent, we have to be so cautious about what we say, because great leaders do have times of negativity. Great leaders do have times where they feel like things are falling apart and they feel overwhelmed and they don't want to get up in the morning and do the things that they need to do. But those moments, those battles are won privately so that you can pass on the positivity. Point number 9, and this is one I really had to learn. Great leaders need to be good listeners. This has been a major weak point for me. I'm a problem-solving guy. Sam has said to me countless times in our marriage, just listen to me. I don't want you to solve the problem. And I'm built and wired to solve problems. When you're talking to me, I've already got the answer and what I need to share with you. So why finish your 43-hour negative download at me? I'm just going to tell you what you need to do anyway. So let me just cut you off and tell you right now. Friends, it's about listening. Often what I learned is what I thought was the right answer is entirely the wrong answer when you listen through the conversation. You know, we've heard the adage, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You know, do double the listening to the speaking. But it's powerful. Learn to listen and pause once people have spoken before you answer. Think through things. Be present in the moment. Don't think to answer. Think and listen to listen. If you do that, what it does is it allows you to be able to give true wisdom and impartation to them. Because point 10 is this: inspire others to change. Now, I hope that rings a bell for you, and somewhere in the back of your head, you're thinking, I've heard that before. That's the motto of our company: inspire change in others. But as a great leader, you should truly inspire others to change. Friends, we have the responsibility, if we lead people, to lead them to something better. One of the things I love doing is I love watching or reading biographies about leaders who are great. You may not always think they're great based on historical context, but even the people that are the most despicable on the planet show traits of what leaders really can achieve if they achieve significance in their role of leadership. Now, again, remember, all leaders are flawed, but we work to become better. But when you realize that you are a walking billboard for inspiring others, that should create in you a responsibility to do something significant. You see, friends, we have something remarkable in front of us. We have our futures, our dreams, our goals, and our ambitions. But you have the ability to lead others into their remarkable dreams, goals, and ambitions. So I implore you, lead when you need to. Lead for cause and not promotion. Speak out. Know your team and respect them. Give credit to them. Be extremely accountable. I think I left out number 5. That was give credit, if you are one of those nitpicking people. Be extremely accountable. Number 6. Number 7, trust your intuition. Number 8, be positive because it's contagious. Number 9, be a good listener. And number 10, inspire change in others. Friends, I give credit today to a remarkable team. I give credit today to a remarkable upline. I give credit today to remarkable founders in an amazing company. We have a remarkable opportunity in front of us, but my time is up, and so I'm going to step off right now. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Boom. Thank you, Kirsten. Amazing training, amazing content, and thank you for giving number 5. I was one of those people sitting like, what is 5? I have to text him. What is number 5? I need number 5. Amazing content. We're always rocking. We talk, great content. You're an amazing speaker. Thank you very much for everything you do, Kirsten, for the family and the team, everything. So thank you. So, again, we're going to dive into the last speaker of the day. And you heard him before. You heard about him before. I promoted him so much before. And there's no words that can describe how amazing this person is and what he's doing to take this amazing company to be the biggest company out there. Everybody says it, they're going to be the biggest company, but this is a man, he say it, he live it, and he always bettering the company, always steering it towards greatness. And 100 million customers 2050, will see that? I really believe so. And he's one of the main reasons for that. He's one of the main reasons why I made a big decision back in August 16 to leave something good to join something great. And I'm happy to call him a mentor and a good friend. So, Mr. Örjan Saleh, you here, Örjan?
Thank you so much, Marco, and Happy New Year to everyone. First and foremost, I'm so excited to see all of you. 2022 is going to be absolutely fabulous. Kirsten, well done. Great points. I've not been able to memorize all of them yet, but you had some very, very good insight there. So thank you for that. I want to just do this as direct as I can today, because this is kind of like a team meeting and it's about kicking off, I guess, the new year and making sure that we achieve the things that we want to achieve. And there is a secret. And if you haven't discovered the secret yet, you for sure will. It's unavoidable to discover this secret. So it's really not a secret at all. But it is a secret because even though everyone discovers it, it's so hard to live it. So the secret is, how do you live with that attitude that is always upbeat, that is always encouraging, that when something happens in your life that is less than good, you're able to look at the situation and turn it around and not let yourself be too frustrated and not let yourself get too much down. And that's the secret, is that we control, well, we don't control the circumstances, we don't control what happens to us, but we control how we respond to what happens to us. And it's like, sometimes I get so frustrated. I'll just be honest with you. I get so frustrated. Why haven't we achieved more? And the reason for my frustration is that I look at some brilliant people out there. If I look at an Elon Musk, and of course he's #1 in the world, so it's kind of tough to compare yourself to #1 in the world. But again, that has to be the ambition, you know. It's like, look at him. And I say, he's like, I think he's 1 year older than me, or maybe it's 2. And how, like, where does he get his time from? And then on top of everything, it seems like he has more time to have fun than me. So it seems like he works less than me and he gets so much more done. And I guess for a lot of you guys, inside of the team, you've got people like that as well. I was having this little thought when I sat down here, just get my notes together of what I wanted to say. And that was that maybe I should just spend this entire half an hour that now is down to 18 minutes, I think it is down to 18 minutes. Well, I've got something scheduled too, Marco. No, I'll probably spend 25 minutes. Maybe I should just spend all of that time bragging about Marco. Because truly, what I've seen through these 5-6 years that we worked together is that there has constantly been an improvement in, I'd say, nearly every area in his life. The only place he doesn't improve is that he does not, in I can't say that word now, so maybe not supposed to say it, but he doesn't get younger. He has gotten older. You can't see it, but he has gotten older. Besides from that, he improves in every single area, which is pretty cool. And every time there has been struggles, he's rolled his sleeves up and gone to work, and either by driving debt in a business or by sponsoring somebody new or moving to a new country. And some of you must be wondering, where does he get the time to get everything done? And I sometimes wonder, where does he get the time? But it's not the time. It's the attitude. It's not the circumstance. It's a response to what happened. That's what makes us different. And that's the secret. And if we figure that one out, how we do that in our life, and no matter what happens, we say, okay, this is the stepping stone for me to become really great. We're going to figure out how to build this business very big. And just to draw that up for you as a beginning, this is the success journey. Like a lot of people think that success journey, and if you can't see it, it's okay. I'm drawing it up for myself more than anything. A lot of people think that from where you are today and where you want to go, it's like this perfect power curve, and you have your dreams. And you've got all of the things that you want in your life. And that might be many things that you want. And I hope that you finished the goal setting sheet. Mark did an incredible job on putting that together in the diamond training. And I hope that if you didn't get it from the diamond training, that you've gotten it from your leaders, or if you haven't gotten it, that you have a wish list for 2022, all the things that you want to accomplish 22, and then wish list for 25, and going on into 30, 35, 50. I've got a wish list for how I want my family to be influencing the world 500 years from now. So there is no reason to stop with your own age. I mean, if you want to really change the world, you got to think 500 years, and it has to be bigger than you. Anyway, so that's what people think, because this is typically the story that is told. It's like, I had these things, I wanted this new car, I wanted to live in a better place, I wanted to make more money, I wanted to put my kids to a better school, I wanted to go and travel the world, I wanted to have upgrades in everything, I wanted to go shopping here, whatever it is on your wish list. And the leaders would typically tell that dream that they had, and then they did the journey and they rank advanced, they went silver, and then they went gold, and then just 6 months later they were executives. A year into it they would be diamond, and some of them are diamonds 2 years into it, and then 5 years later they're a black crown or something like that. And they tell the story like it was just this amazing journey. But that's not really how the story goes. Because the story is more like this. You get started, you get like this super momentum, you've got somebody that is just firing like a rocket, and it's gonna be amazing. And then instead of continuing, it goes backward, and you end up looping back, and you're back in you're so frustrated, you don't know what to do. Your superstar is not producing anything. And I'm watching here at Javier, which is like doing so great. 2021 was just like rock star year. But I think it was 2017 or 2016, we walked for an hour and 15 minutes. I decided to walk. We didn't take a taxi. It was not for me to save the money, but it was for me to save his life, because if we took a taxi, I would only have like 5-10 minutes to talk to him, but we had like an hour and 15 minutes, and it had 1 hour and 15 minutes. No matter what I said, I couldn't get him to see that he was going to reach his dream. And then I gave him some assignments, and he did the assignments. And then he called me back and said, I discovered the continuation in my journey. And look what happened a few years later. He just goes through the roof. Absolutely amazing. But that was a looping back, because the first time I spoke with him, not walking the exact same place, but it was in Palma. We were walking in the same town. He was here. And then I meet him a couple of years later, and he's like here. He's like back down here. So the journey continues, and then you get it, and things are looking good again, and then it drops back, and then you're back here, and there is like this struggle, and then you get somewhere, and then eventually one day you get your thing. That's a success journey. In the middle of when you plan to have your biggest push ever, you get COVID, or like me, I get COVID when like we're waiting like 2 years to go on a director trip, and we're so excited. It's first time families can travel. We're gonna see all our friends, all of our partners. And then like, I'm just gonna do one live event in Norway, and then we're gonna leave. And we have like literally no cases whatsoever in Norway. We like had so few people that you would have to like really hunt for them to find somebody that could give you COVID. And what do you think happened? Like basically the day before I would do my fit to fly test, I tested at home and I was not fit to fly. I was done with COVID. You know, so what happens then is like me and Hilde does do a lot of the program in the trip. We do have a influential role in the company, to put it that way. So what do? Like, do you lay down and cry? Well, we sure wanted to, but we didn't. That's like a loop back. But what you do is you circle back and you try to get back on that track. To make it very simple for you, you want to fix your attitude. There is going to be 3 things that you specifically have to watch out for. And when I say fix your attitude, I'm not saying that you have a bad attitude. I'm not saying that you have a good attitude. I'm just saying that anybody that is not beating Elon Musk still have things that they can get done in their life. So if you're not beating his financial track record, then you still have things to fix. Is that a good way to say it? It's like, and it's not only about finances, of course, but I mean, I could pick other things as well. But that's, I'm just saying that we all have room for improvement. So it comes down to the belief that we hold about ourselves. Number one thing, what do you believe about yourself? And that's going to be critical, because when you're up here and you circle back, you're going to be very tempted to throw out thoughts of doubts. You're going to be tempted to throw out thoughts of distractions. You're going to question, is this really for me? Is this my path? Is this the right product? Like if you're in that situation where things aren't going well and you go to Google, guess what Google is going to help you find? They're going to help you find that tells negative things about direct selling. They're going to help you find things about omega-3. And luckily, we don't sell omega-3, but some people are confused about what we sell, and find things about omega-3 that isn't uplifting. You're going to find things about your ancestry that isn't uplifting. You're going to find on Google, if you are in that position where you doubt, you're going to find and you're going to confirm that. So this is the number one thing that people that achieve have, is that they hold a belief about themselves that they will in the end make it. And the stronger that belief becomes, the less time we use on doubting, the less time we use on getting distracted, less time we use on overcoming disappointments. Because I tell you one thing, every single day of your life, unless you lock yourself in, and if you lock yourself in, it's going to be anyways the same way, you're going to have disappointments in your life. It's not like Marco. Marco is doing so well because nobody ever disappoints him. No, it's not what's going on. Dave is doing so great because he just lives this perfect life, you know, where nothing is happening in his family, private life, or business life. It's just good things. People call him up all the time and just pump him up, and that's why he gets to be so excited. It's not the truth. That's not the truth. The truth is that Marco, Dave, me, Kirsten, many of the other leaders, Javier, we sometimes actually have more things to be disappointed about than the rest. Sometimes I say to Hilda, and that is that it sure was fun when we only had a director team or ground team, because it was so easy. We had so few people that could call us and tell us about problems. It was like life was nearly problem free back then. And of course, our life today is 100 times better. But in the terms of how much feedback you get that is critical, that could be disappointing, it's a whole different ballgame. The higher you grow, the more it's going to be. But the way we respond to it is different, because what we believe about ourselves is that we're given all the power in the world to solve all of those things. Even if we listen for 45 minutes, Kirsten, you can still come with a solution afterwards. Wasn't that fun? I love that. Okay, so the belief we hold about ourselves, and you got to build that up to be rock solid and look at yourself as the way God looks at you, where you're absolutely perfect in all things that you can believe and conceive and see you can also achieve. You're given the authority to achieve that. And then second one is the belief we hold about others. This is challenging. So when I read the newspaper today, I read about some people in Norway that was going to become billionaires in Norwegian kroners. And it's so tempting to say, am I as good as them? It's so tempting when you see somebody rank advancing in the team, in upline or downline or crossline. Am I as good as them? Do I have the same context as them? It's so tempting to believe when we sit with a new prospect that we think, can they really do this, or can they really want to do this? It's two different questions. Do they want to do it? It seems like they've got their life together. Is this really for them? It's so tempting. But if you have a strong belief about yourself, about who you are, your belief about others is going to be in a positive manner, but you're never going to look at yourself less than them. You're going to look at yourself equal to them, and you're going to be excited about building together with them, which makes it a lot easier to go to meetings. And this goes for everywhere in team. Then number 3 is the belief we hold about the world around us. I have more notes. I have plenty of more notes. Marco, I think it's Mary. I think I could do an hour, Marco. But
if you want.
No, we can't do an hour. I could go on. Like I don't even cover my points. Like I've got several sheets left there. I just keep on talking. But that's okay. But the belief we hold about the world around us is so important going into 2022. Because and it's like, I really honestly last year when we came into the fall and we launched the vitamin D3 campaign, a Shine campaign, I honestly believe that we would be out of the COVID and that there wouldn't be a second or a third or a fifth or an eighth or a 10th. I don't know how many waves we've had. I honestly believe that we would be out in the clear and things would be good. And I was so excited for 2022 because I honestly thought that the media was going to be done hyping it. The politicians was going to be done doing crazy, stupid things. Well, I didn't believe that, but around COVID, politicians will always do crazy things. And it doesn't matter, like during the crisis, you know, even the people you're the biggest fan of does crazy things, you know, when it comes to politics. But I honestly believe that. And then I heard about Omicron. I heard about it very early on. And I got the initial data and I just called out to everyone. I did this, I don't know which day I did it, but I did it pretty early on. Go back and track the leadership council or director council. I did it even a week before that or days before that to the family and to the leadership in Cincinnati. But I just called it out and said, this thing, if they look down and they look us up and they look us in, and no one gets to go out for a week, it will still spread like crazy. Because if the filters on the airplanes can stop the virus from spreading, nothing can. If you live in a building with other people, it will spread through the building. That's how viral it is. And of course, now that's old news a few weeks later, but I just understood that because it was very viral, and especially when people that had, so that was what got me, and why I really got it early on, because I saw people that have had COVID and they'd taken the vaccines after they had COVID and they got the virus. And that's when you know this one is looking for everyone. And it doesn't matter if you have taken the vaccine or not. I'm not into those kind of things anyways. I'm into synbiotic, balance oil, and all the other things that is good, and vitamin D3 and so on. But I understood that 2022 was going to be different. I understood that this meeting wouldn't be us meeting physically. It would be online again. And that's when I made a decision about the world around me. First quarter 2022 is going to be the most successful, incredible, exciting, fun, amazing quarter of Zoom conferences ever. So I had to adjust my belief about the world around me, because I cannot always dictate how the world around me is going to be. I try to sometimes. It's hard when it doesn't fit the way I want it to be, and I guess you're in the same situation, but I can adjust my attitude towards it. And I think that what happened with the new surge, with the new waves, is in fact this best thing that could happen to us, because it gives us a 2022 where we get laser focused in the first quarter on getting good or perfecting what we've been doing for the past 2 years. And that is, to me, is a massive amount of people in Zoom conferences, one-on-ones, two-on-ones, follow-ups, small group meetings, customer meetings. And it also brought another perspective to it, because all of the nutrition world actually took a big dip during 2021. Cincinnati didn't take a dip. We grew 20% to our numbers. But the nutrition world took a big dip, because everyone out there in the world thought that, the vaccines, the magic bullet of vaccines will now actually just solve everything. So we don't have to eat right. We don't have to care for ourselves. It's like the medical industry and the politicians is going to fix it. So I'm fine. I read the data, I think it was yesterday, from Sweden on infections of the new variant, the Omicron. And out of the ones getting infected in Sweden, and Sweden has an average of, between the adults, they've got an average of 92-93% of the population. Between the entire population is about 78% that is fully vaccinated. And when you look at statistics, it shows that actually out of people getting Omicron is about 76% of the population, which means that you're back to zero. It doesn't matter what you did, you still have to take care of your health. I'm not saying that that is a positive thing in general for the world. I don't think so. I absolutely didn't try to say that. Could be misunderstood into that. But it is indirectly still a positive, and it's a positive for us, because the focus on health is still going to be there. So for 2022, with what's going on, everyone, those that are taking the vaccines, those that aren't taking vaccines, is going to get back to what we had in 2020. There, they actually want to take care of their health early on. And that is what we do with the balanced soil. That's what we do with the symbiotic fiber. I think somebody has stolen my extend here, but we have the Shine here. That's what we do with the vitamin D3. Maybe I'm the one that stole my extend when I think about it, because I took it upstairs a couple of days ago, but that's okay. But that's what we do with these products, is that we set people up for having a long-term better health, and that is going to be realized during this quarter, is that there isn't any short-term solutions. The solutions, with or without, whatever you do, you have to take care of your metabolic age, because when you're young inside, you're gonna try better, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna run faster, gonna jump higher, and that's no matter which age you're in. You're gonna feel better, and that's what's so important with what we do, is that we become bold about this message that we have, and that we get it out there and we show people hope in the middle of everything. It's like I had one of the first victims of COVID in Norway. He was he's the one that took down my curtains. He put them up and then they were too short, and then he came back to take them down. And I'm glad that they were too short, because then I realized that he was one of the first people in Norway hospitalized for COVID in March of 2020. So very early on, and he spent 16 days in a hospital. And now he was in this special research group, and they were following up with him every month, but he is still sick. So 18 months, 19 months, 20 months afterwards, he's still not feeling good. And I said, what's wrong? Well, I can't sleep as well as I did before, and I can't lift as heavy weights, and I run out of energy all the time. And I looked at him and said, okay, so have they tried to help you with any of that? Not really. They take a lot of blood samples to know my antibodies and stuff like that, but they haven't really tried to help me with anything like that. They said that I need to go to the gym and exercise, and then once in a while they close down the gym because they're afraid of people getting COVID. So, and we had a laugh about that. And then I said, well, we'll fix that for you. That's what we're working with. We're working with getting you back on track. I don't know if he's going to get back on track, because he started with the products literally last week. But I know that what I know is that we're going to get him to have a better stomach function. We're going to get him into a better balance. We're going to boost his vitamin D3 levels. We're going to get his microbiome switch around. And from watching him, I'm pretty confident, because I've seen so many get better. I don't know if this is going to be enough. It might be that we need to have the Sino gene into it. I didn't start with that yet. Might have to use that. But isn't that exciting that I'm working with something where I can help the rest of the medical community has not been able to help for these last 18 months, those that are struggling even afterwards. So for me, just one product testimonial. I finally figured out this product, Synergene. It's an absolutely fun product. Now, I've told you guys and others that I do 10 days, and then I can see again. And then I lose my eyesight again. And I really fight to be young, okay? I really fight to be young. And one of the measurements of that is staying away from gray hair. That's number one. I'm doing a pretty good job at that, staying away from gray hair. And then number two is having good eyesight. And then, of course, I've got my 2022 goal of going for a 10K run in 40 minutes. And I was running intervals yesterday. That's a tough goal, but I'm going to do it by 16th of June. But I finally figured it out. I need one of these every morning. That's all I need. And my eyesight is good. So when I go on it, I get good eyesight, and then it loses it again, and then I go on it again, and I finally figure it out. I need one a day. Then it clears up my eyes. So now I'm going to try that for 2022 and see if this one can keep me away from the eye doctor for the entire year. And it's pretty radical difference. But that's cool when we work with things like that. So do you see what I did for the last few minutes? I put you into a bubble where I talked about the world around us as an opportunity with the disasters that are going on. And that's the way I want you to build up your belief around about the world around you, is that no matter what's happening in it, you've got a solution. I didn't go into all the people that are struggling financially. I didn't go into inflation. I didn't go into that interest rates are going to grow and go up all around the world and people are going to struggle to pay their bills. I didn't go into all of that. I could have gone into that and talked about how just getting to Pro Team, or actually for some people, just getting to A Team every month would give them all the products that they're getting for free and 100 euros additional. That could be a lot of change in a lot of people's life. We've got this big thing in Norway now that every other country have every year, but in Norway, we're used to very low energy prices. So we're not very energy efficient. And then it went up like 800 times. So people are literally in the months where they're used to getting an electric bill for 100 euros. Right now, they're getting 600 and 800 euros in the electric bill that used to be 100. That's tough if you have a regular income. Do you understand that? That's like Katrina here. She's from Norway. She's reading about this every day, just like me. And I mean, we live in a big house and I'm used to a high electric bill, but the one that I'm getting now, it has so many zeros behind it that I'm just laughing. We bought a new cabin. We bought a lot in the mountains, and those two together is costing me way less than the electric bill and the monthly payment. So when my mom is saying, oh, you bought all of those things, I'm laughing. Yeah, it's like half of the electric bill. It's like so cool. And it's not cool if you don't know how to pay it. But we give that opportunity. Going Pro Team gives them 200 euros. Going Top Team with the bonus gives them 1,000 euros a month for the first 25 months, 100 customers, plus them, their kids, everyone gets free product. That is a cool opportunity that we can give to everyone. And if they're like you that are listening to this, you also want to build a team of hundreds of people that does the same. And there is no end to what you can achieve. There is no end to what you can gain for yourself financially. So we're coming into 2022 where there is endless opportunity in the area of health. People need what we have, and there is endless opportunity in the area of opportunity. People need the income opportunity that we have. So if you know that you're the right person, you know that you're just as good as any Black Crown that is already in the company, and you know that 2022 is giving endless opportunities, you know, then it's a little bit easier to have this attitude and saying, hey, they said no, I'm very sorry for them, because that means that they get to be the front line in my third leg instead of being on the third level in my second leg. That's pretty cool when I'm going to sponsor them 2 years from now. That's how you respond to a circumstance when your attitude is right. And that comes out of those three beliefs about yourself, about others, and the world around you. And if you match that up with a wish list, with your dreams, your visions for this year, nothing is going to stop you to rank advance. And here's what I think is incredible. I'm going to end with this. I'm taking too much time anyway, so I'm going to end with this. Here's what I think is incredible, and that is anybody here or anybody in your team that moves up one rank in 2022 is absolutely fabulous. That's an incredible achievement, and they deserve our respect, they deserve our applaud, they deserve our honor, and be sure that you recognize them and have a lot of fun with it. Now, when that's said, I'd even recognize people that move up one customer, because if everyone in your team always moved up one customer every year, that's also incredible. But I think for some of you, you'd be able to move up one rank this month. And that's what I would put on my agenda. I'm not talking then to necessarily the diamonds or directors and above, but I'm talking to everyone that is in the beginning and starting to build. I'm not talking maybe to a top team 200 in a month is tough. But I'm talking to somebody that is a bronze and want to go X Team Express. So if you could do that, and if you start really working with people on moving up one rank if they're on lower ranks in a month. And if you start with a little bit the intermediate ranks, you look at moving them up one rank in a quarter. And then if you look at the higher ranks, maybe it's half a year or a year. If we start doing that and we start strong going out of the gates here in the beginning of 2022, there is absolutely so much potential in this year. And you can just expect to get so many things back from 2022. And that's what I have as an expectation for myself and for everyone else. And that is that we will build through January with campaigns that we have, we'll crush January. That's going to go to an all-time high. And then I expect that February, that is usually a little bit of a dip after a good January, that February, because in February, everyone is going to be dead locked up. Now, it's like the Australians are already locked up, we know that. But in February, with the COVID surge that we have, most of us is going to be dead locked up, and we're going to get on Zoom, and we're going to do such a strong February. So you move up one more rank in February. Then we come into March, and March is going to be lighter, because then people will eventually figure out that this is going to come to an end, and we'll move strongly through March. And what you can do in these 3 months, I believe, because of the additional lockdown, is that you can put as much progress into these 3 months that you normally could do in an entire year. And that's why I'm very excited about our 2022.
And so are we. Thank you, Orion. Great stuff as always. Thank you very much for taking the time, coming on and sharing here with the team. We appreciate you, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for everything you do. I'm just so utterly proud to work together with you. You're absolutely amazing. Should get like anybody, like, do this for me. Send Marco a bucket of paint and send him a brush so that he can draw on every wall around him. I am amazing. Like Hilda talked about in the diamond training. If you haven't seen that, it's going to be released to everyone, I think next week or the week after. See that training she did on that. But I think that that's what we should do, all of us. Get a bucket of paint, get a wall, and then just get a brush and write, I am amazing. And then tell what you want to become in life proudly. I want to become Black Crown, or I want to become a millionaire, or I want to become a world shaker, or I want to become a history maker. I want to become the best that I can be.
Yes.
So don't post your address, Marco, because then you'll get a lot of buckets and a lot of a lot of brushes.
Yep. So don't give those kind of advices. They might listen. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on this journey together.
Well, absolutely. And thank you to all the other leaders as well. 2021 was so good. Let's top it off in 2022.
Yes. Thank you, Orion. Thank you very much. So closing, gang, just a couple of steps to think about leaving this event, coming off this kickoff. We already did training a week ago about the goal setting, everything. So leaving this, couple of action steps for you to take. I mean, number one, your goal. If you haven't taken the time to do the goal setting, start designing your life in advance. Because when you start, Dave talked about it, right? About your dreams, having that why. It's critical, because life will always come in the way. But if you have a crystal clear vision, a strong why, that will pull you through those days. And that will help you not be stuck in trivial stuff, because you have the focus on where you're going. Because if you have a big why, the roadblocks will be small. No why, every little roadblock will feel huge and you won't see past it, right? So have those goals clear. Where do you want to go? And then with that, of course, break down to those daily habits. As we share the tracker, use that tracker, because those small actions over time is what will take you there step by step. And then look at it when it comes to the goal. I want all of you to have one thing clear. What's your number? What is your minimum number? You know my story, you heard before, right? Many times. When I started January 2009, I made a decision, I'm going to do this profession full time. I made a decision. I was leaving my home 7 in the morning, coming back 10 at night. I was working for a newspaper. I was playing soccer in second division. So a very limited time, but I made one decision. I'm going to give this business 7 presentations per week for 1 year. And that was my focus. I said, I don't care how it goes in the beginning. I'm just going to focus on that kind of activity. I didn't focus on the results in the beginning, just the activity. Because they told me the right activity over time will help you grow. And when you grow, you get better results for the same effort. So I trusted the process. So what's your number? Keep that minimum for 2022 and come back next January and share your story, because we want to hear your story about how you saw great growth this year, but by staying consistent, by knowing your goal, your why, and what's your number, because show me your minimum, I'll show you your future. And then, of course, have some clarity in driving your business with numbers. What I mean with that is that you can make a predictable growth in January. For example, if you want 4 personal customers in January, and then you know you need to invite 2 and do 2 custom presentations to get 1. To get there 4, you need to do 8, right? 1 or 5, if you invite them the correct way, and then you do a presentation, maybe we need 5, 6, live, maybe 4, right? Online, we need to do more meetings for same results, of course. So maybe you count 7, 8 to get 1. Then you know, do the 7 times 3 to get, that's 21 to get my 3 partners this month. Because if you break it down, then you can see that, okay, 21 sounds a lot, but if I break that down to 4 weeks, it's 5.25 a week, right? And all of a sudden you see it's less than 1 a day, and all of a sudden it's doable. And then also I want you to realize, you heard from so many amazing leaders with great results today. They're nothing unique. They're not better than you. Maybe just more committed over a little longer time. But the skill sets you need to be successful here, inviting, presenting, following up, promoting a sponsor, promoting events, communication, all of that, that is skills anybody can learn. Because if we simplify it, I've seen many people in this profession be very successful, being very bad at a lot of things. Even at the invite, present, follow up, they were not super good and still very successful. But they just kept doing invite, present, follow up. Because if you invite enough people, present enough people, you will have growth. That is how simple, if we simplify this business, if you invite enough people, no matter how you find them online, offline, invite and present for enough people, you will see growth, and you duplicate this. So have the goal clear. What is the habits? Plan that. What's your number, minimum for the week, a month, for the week, for the whole year? Drive it with numbers, and just focus on the skills. And I got a couple of messages after the poem I shared with Tecumseh. So the last thing we'll see is a 3-minute video. Then we're over and out for today. So I want to share this, where I heard this the first time. Javi, can you see the video? Because I can see you, Javi, super. It was in this movie, Act of Valor. This is the guy you see in the picture, is the friend. He was in the military, and his friend had a newborn kid at home. They were out in war, this guy and the father of that kid. And sadly, that father died in this war. But before he died, because he got injured and was laying there for death, he shares this poem, and he told his friend, "Give this to my son," because he wanted his son to live by this. So really listen to this, because you need to understand you live only once. Life is so precious, and just dare to be yourself, because we walk around, tiptoeing around, being afraid to be judged and thinking about what other people are thinking about us. And, you're already being judged anyway. So you might as well just be judged for who you are than for who you pretend to be. So let's see if we can have sound here.
Before he died, your
Is it good sound?
gave me this poem by Tecumseh. I told him I'd fold it into a paper.
Was the sound good, Javi? Dave did thumbs up. Javi did a good sound? Good. Take this. It's 1 minute. 1 minute and 8 seconds. Focus on the words, what he's saying. Send this to his son before he dies. Because too many live a life where we too early of life, we live with so many regrets that we wish we would have the courage to live a life true to ourselves and all of this. So it's so good, his poem. Here it comes.
Before he died, your father asked me to give you this poem by Tecumseh. I told him I'd fold it into a paper airplane. And in a way, I guess that's what I'm doing. Selling it from him to you. Live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about his religion. Respect others and their views and demand that they respect yours. Love your life. Perfect your life.
Beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and of service to your people. When your time comes to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero, going home.
I think it's so powerful because it's so easy to
The
take
only
life
way
for
to stop
granted.
this evil is for all our people to unite in claiming an equal right in the land.
Okay. I think, it's so easy to take life for granted. One of the secrets to happy life is gratitude, right? So you wake up in the morning, send some gratitude, whatever you're thankful for. Have that clear plan to how you can go out and serve people and how you can live your dreams. And we have an amazing business here where it's all about helping others grow, helping others win. And automatically you win if you just focus on others and help. Zig Ziglar's classic quote, right? Help enough people get to where they want to go, and automatically you will get where you want to go, right? So take this with you. All the lessons you had from today, from all the amazing speakers. It's been great. Thank you very much, all the speakers as well, for sharing. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Javi. We have Trina, we have Kirsten, and then Orion. Appreciate all of you, and I'm so excited. We're going to meet almost 50, 60 of you in Dubai in a couple of weeks. So with that, go out and make a difference in your life and the people around you. Appreciate you all, and I'm proud to be part of this 1Mondo family, and make it a great year, team. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao.